All right, this is not a ride sharing video. I repeat, this is not a ride sharing video. What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, doing a op-ed, a unusual evening broadcast. Obviously, today is a day that we have never seen throughout the likes of history. President Trump obviously being not necessarily found guilty of the actual the main charge, which was rape, but being found guilty of both sexual abuse and defamation in regards to the victim. Most of you folks are aware by now that he's been ordered to pay $5 million in regards to this to the actual victim. Nevertheless, he does have the right to appeal, and this will continue on. But the whole purpose of the program we're going to be talking about tonight, as you see behind me on the monitor, do you believe President Trump, number 45, is actually an innocent man? Do you believe he was railroaded to the point where he is 100% innocent of all charges posed against him? That's what we're going to be asking tonight. As always, I make it clear the program is and shall forever remain a MAGA friendly program. I do not block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So understand when you come on the box, the actual ability, the right of free speech is always observed here. So your right to state your point is always just as valuable as my own. So I don't block, ban, or censor anyone. But we want to ask, do you believe the president is actually an innocent man? Looking in the comments, wow. El Sant says, oh my God, give it a rest. He's freaking guilty. Well, this just happened. This just happened a few hours ago. So I don't know about the whole give it a rest advice or recommendation. This just happened a few hours ago. In fact, I was doing a live somewhere around 1:30, 2 o'clock Central Time when the verdict came in. So this is very, very fresh. So I don't know if we're going to give it a rest yet. JC Basson says definitely railroaded. Okay, fair enough. So we're going to go to the bots, and I'm just curious. Do you folks believe he is 100% innocent? Independent life. Good and welcome to the program. What do you think, Independent? So do you believe
Oh, Mr.
he's 100%
Handsome,
innocent?
it's been a long time since we talked.
Yeah, I haven't done a night show in a while. I do 11:30 to 2 o'clock generally weekdays, but because of the nature of what has happened, I figured I'd get on here and talk to the folks. But what do you think? Do you believe he is totally innocent as he's stating?
No.
Do you believe he actually is guilty of what he was found not guilty of, which is
Well,
the
yeah.
actual, huh?
Well, yes, because of the simple fact that, I mean, going back to his depositions and all that, I
Right.
mean, basically, it came down where he said that, like, stars are allowed to do this. Like, yes, I'm a star and it doesn't matter. Like, I can do this. It's fine. No, it's not. It's called
So
FA, bro.
So you believe when he talked about grabbing him by the you know what, that was basically a confession that he actually does that kind of, because a lot of folks on the right, particularly MAGA and Trump supporters, are saying that was just locker room talk. Are you saying you don't buy into that?
Yes, sir, absolutely. I
Well,
mean, here's the reason why is because, like, I mean, it goes even further than that. Like, he was living in this dark world, and he felt like, yeah, he was all these pictures from Jeffrey Epstein's plane and everything, and basically, like, everything else, it proved that he did this. I mean,
so you believe so you believe he actually was getting involved in some of that activity with Epstein as well?
oh, absolutely, 100%. Because I mean, like, Biden wasn't in that plane. Obama was
Yeah.
in that plane with
Mhm.
Jeffrey Epstein's Gilligan's Island bull crap. Like, are you serious? Like, no, it was him. Period. I
So
mean, like,
So at the end of the day, I guess I'd have to ask you the obvious. I think I kind of know where you're going, but I want to ask you: do you believe something like this, even though he's only been found civilly liable? He's not going to be criminally charged with this due to the statute or whatever. But do you believe something like this should prevent him from even seeking the nation's highest office?
Absolutely.
Mm. So how do
Absolutely.
you?
Because I mean, like if you actually look at Marjorie Taylor Greene, what she's actually doing to um save him from the what's her name again? I'm sorry, I forgot her name.
Marjorie Taylor is saving him from who?
The one in Georgia, the one
The governor,
Willis. Yes, sir.
Governor Kemp.
No. The court that he has to go to next.
Oh, well, I don't know if Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be able to prevent that. I mean, what do you're saying
But
she's
they're
using her
trying to,
office?
like, he's calling for them to do that, though. He's calling for them to, like, yeah, just totally break the law and totally just, like, come to my rescue and
Right. So,
overturn all this crap that they're doing because they're crooked as hell.
but how do
All
you?
of
Okay,
them.
Let me ask you from this standpoint, and I'm asking you. So my beloved MAGA is going to bring this up. He was found liable in the state of New York. New York is obviously a liberal bastion. Is there any chance that the court system in New York had it in for this guy from day one?
No, because here's the thing is like, a lot of even liberals supported him from the gate in 2016. And basically, like, from my understanding, because I've lived in Vegas before, and he couldn't even get a license in Vegas. And why is that? Like, everyone that is on the right should actually question themselves. It's like, why could he not get a license in Vegas than
Well,
himself?
I don't want to go too deep down the Vegas road because that's a whole different
Hmm.
story. But at the end of the day, on this, I guess if we had to speculate, he is going to appeal. How do you think he'll do on appeal?
Horribly, horribly, because I mean, like, no, I mean, it's just the truth,
Yeah.
and truth
But
matters.
so wow. So at the end of the day, even though he escaped the rape charge and was found liable, guilty of sexual abuse and defamation, you believe he also did the main charge that he was found not guilty of.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow. Okay, fair enough. I got to move it on independent life. That's strong
All right,
stuff
Mr.
for a
Handsome,
commander
it's
to
been a
do.
long time that I've been trying to get on your live, but I finally got back on, and we got to actually have a conversation. It's actually loving life. I mean, I changed my name, yes, sir, but
Nothing wrong with that.
I've been in your lives before, and man, I love you, bro.
Appreciate it.
And
It's
have
an
a
honor.
great
Come on
week,
back.
buddy.
Always a good talk, man. Come on back through anytime.
All right, bro. Good night.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Tito, appreciate that. Appreciate that, Cat. Shout out to you. Thank you very much for your generosity. And I seen a comment. Somebody said we all knew it was coming. Wow. Now, what I want to run by you folks before we go back to the box, and I certainly will go back to that shortly, is the notion that there are a lot of folks that watch their prospective news outlets. A lot of folks on the right watch a lot of right wing news, OAN, Fox News, Newsmax. Folks on the left, CNN, MSNBC, and things like that. The reason I'm bringing this up is because how Trump handled his defamation is something I'm finding out that a lot of folks on the right, because they were not watching this, very similar to the January 6 hearings, they believed it was a witch hunt. They haven't heard some things. So I want to play a couple things for you that I believe is probably what caused Trump some of his biggest problems in this. Because this is a 30-year-old case, and you wonder, well, how the hell could he have been found guilty? So I want you to hear this. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get your boy up to 10,000 likes. I do appreciate you folks rolling with me with this late hour live. I don't normally do them this late, but Appreciate you folks being here. So tap the screen, get your boy up to 10,000 likes. Check this out.
Take a quick listen. In this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the you could do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the
Well, that's if you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
You consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
Any idea? Now, you hear her asking him, in regards to his comment about being able to grab him by the you-know-what. And he basically says, yeah, that's true, largely true. He said, unfortunately, sometimes fortunately, the stars can do this. And then she follows up with a very good follow-up. Well, do you consider yourself a star? And he said, yes. Notice one thing that was missing in his testimony there in that deposition. He never said that was locker room talk. That was the time to back out of doubling down on that whole you can grab him by the whatever, because this is what that is deriving from. Now, when it happened during the 2016 campaign, a lot of folks threw the man a lifeline. A lot of Trump supporters threw him a lifeline and stated, oh, that's just locker room talk. He quickly bit onto that, even though clearly it was not, but he bit onto it and used it. And of course, he got elected in 2016. This was the time, knowing that you're sitting in court or you're sitting in a deposition for exactly what you were bragging about on the bus during that conversation. Why wouldn't you bring up locker room talk? The fact that he did not say locker room talk here shows that it was never locker room talk to begin with. When asked, is what you stated true, that you can really grab women like that? His response was, yeah, you can. So the whole locker room talk thing, I think you kind of just blew that out of the water. In regards to the comments, Starscraft says, why does it matter? The former president, the front runner for 2024 president campaign, has been found liable of something like this. And your response is, why does it matter? Are you serious? We're talking about serious things like Hunter Biden's laptop and what country Obama was born in. But something like this, that he may have done this to a woman, is totally irrelevant? Really? Going back to the box, and I got a little bit more to play with for you, but we'll get to it in a minute. CMB, boss. Good afternoon, CMB, and welcome back to the program. So what do you think?
Hey, thank you. I haven't seen you in a while. How you been?
Been good. I've been doing the afternoon shows, but here, because of the significance, appreciate that, I must say. Because of the significance of this, I wanted to come on tonight and just ask folks, do you believe he's 100% innocent?
Well, let me start off by saying that today I've been watching a couple of the shows. Obviously when you're on, I'm watching you. And today I had to go back into my closet and I had to put on my cowboy boots because there was so much bullshit in your live talk of people just coming up with literally horse shit things that were like non-true. Now I don't have a list of them, but there was a lady, she was going on, and then this other guy. These people need to, these people don't, first of all, these people don't understand anything about the entertainment life. Because if they got to spend 5 or 10 minutes with, even with me and the people and the Team 5000 that I run with and celebrities that are there, singers, actors, whatever have you, they would probably either have a coronary or go home and cry, because in the entertainment business, unfortunately, even back in the day when Tupac was around, women come in, they're dressed virtually, nothing, and they're dressed so they can be noticed by these rappers.
But let me ask you this thing. That's an interesting point, because you're right, rappers get it all the time. What about the notion that this woman claiming that she was sexually abused might have actually just been a groupie, did what you're talking about, tried to make herself available to him, and when things didn't go the way she wanted, she filed some type of
That's
claim? Is
exactly
that
what
possible?
that is exactly what you just said is exactly what happened with that and every day in and day out. That's what happens all the time. Even with those young ladies that had gone, back there was big lawsuit. They had gone to parties up on Hollywood Hills, and then 30 years later they wanted to sue the guy, and it's just like,
So,
listen, they
but
know what
let's
they're getting into. Let's not
but
be
let's let's
stupid and
let's let's go with that, where she was a groupie and she wanted herself to have an experience with the former president. Then why is he saying she wasn't his type? If something like that happened and he did take up on the offer, he stated she is not his type and he doesn't even know who the hell she is.
yeah, but she put herself in she first of all she put herself in that position because being there with him, she talks about the store and this and that. She could have very easily walked away and taken the exit instead of going upstairs and following him or walking in front of him, whatever have you. I mean, incidents happen, moments of lust. People get sexually aroused by whatever, by even just a look or whatever, and one thing leads to the other, and then maybe at the end it doesn't go exactly like one or the other wants, and that's when the other one or the other complains. And it could be a male. It's not, don't get me wrong that this only happens to females. This happens to males too, with female celebrities or actresses.
Now, keep in mind, he has 15 other accusers. You think they're all groupies like that?
I don't particularly know every instance, but I can tell you, based on what I've seen in my last 10 years of life lately, yeah. And a lot of these people, they're not just groupies. A lot of them are just looking for an easy way to make a dollar,
What
and
about what about
he's
his
got it, so
claim?
let me sue him for it.
Yeah, what about his claim that you could grab women and kiss them and grab them by the you know what? Do you think he was serious about that?
Well, I think that I'd love to take you with me one night, and then you could come on the show and talk of the things that you see down here in Miami, at like a club at the Hard Rock Dares. There's a nightclub at the top of the building there. You see things there that you'd be like, oh my God, and
Yeah,
and
but think about it this way, CMB. Just because you are a rock star and your fame and wealth allows you to do something, that still doesn't take away from the fact that it is a crime. They can report you.
Right, no, they can, but the thing about it is that the other person, whether it's male or female, doesn't matter, took the elevator to go up to the very top floor to encounter that type of situation. Because if they didn't, they would have stayed at home and watched
Wait a
six
minute.
o'clock
So
news and gone to
you're
bed.
making it sound like you get in the
Unfortunately,
elevator. Yeah, but
unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, I have to say 80% of the people that take the elevator up and go and mingle in these type of situations are either looking for an easy money maker, that's someone they could sue, like they did with all the rappers. I
wait,
mean,
wait
we
a
go
minute.
back.
Wait. When you say she, taking the elevator up to the top floor, you make it sound like the individual gets in an elevator and there's all these buttons on the wall, floor 3, floor 5, and there's this top button that says rape, and you push that when you go up to the top. I mean, if it's
No,
an
no,
assault,
no. But I'm just saying that they get in the elevator because I was talking about the nightclub, for example, the Hard Rock Hotel, that has the casino, and then at the very top of the building, at the very very top, there's a nightclub, and a lot of celebrities and rich people and movie stars, rappers, all kinds of people in there. And the women that go up get in that elevator. When I go into the elevator and there's 4, 5, or 7 women that get on, you know back in the day you could take all of their clothing and make one dress out of it. That's how skimpy it is.
so let's say, for instance, a woman really has a thing for a rock star, or in this case, a mogul like Trump, a real estate mogul like Trump, or tycoon, I believe the word is. If they get in that elevator because they really idolize Trump and go to the top floor, do they lose their right to resist?
No, no, not at all, not at all. That they have every right to resist. They have every right to complain after the fact that the person was too rough with them. But as some of the rappers say, if you got it, you got to flaunt it. And these women are there flaunting it. That's why they go to these high celebrity places, or even these high dinners, even with the diplomatic people in Washington D.C. $10,000 dinner plates. I mean, I've seen a lot of people just act the fool, and I personally wouldn't act that
So
way.
what
But
if what if a woman is flaunting and got everything hanging out, like as you say, a dress so small you can sew it together and make one dress, got all her skin out and everything, goes up to the top floor, does she still maintain the right to say no?
absolutely,
So how do
the
you? So what's making you think that this woman that's accusing Trump was automatically asking for it to some degree?
well, because unfortunately, and as bad as it sounds, 9 out of 10 women that put themselves in this type of situation, they know the risks, and
So,
and
what
and
are the risks? What are the risks?
the risks are to get a man.
Raped? To
No,
get
no,
raped?
no, no, not by no means. By no means
Okay.
say that.
All right.
But they do, what they're wearing. They get the man, hot and aroused or whatever. He's got a bulge in his pants. I don't know if I can explain that any better. To some of these people that you have on the show. Some of these people that
Right.
come talk to you are like so naive about life that it just blows me away. And then once you got that bulge in your pants, it takes a couple minutes to calm it back down. And by
Okay.
then, things could spin out of control like they do a lot of times. I mean,
So when you say, but
I've got some celebrity people and some actual rapper people. Do you know that go when they go to their hotel room with a young lady or someone private, their head of security goes there and stands with them while they're having sex or whatever,
why?
to avoid any situations after the fact.
So essentially being some type of witness or something.
Well, yeah, we've gotten to the point where it's so common for this type of stuff to happen, whether it's male or female, that their security guard, like my one guy, Data 5000, he has a female security team, and the head of the female, when he goes in with another female, she stands by the door while they do whatever it is that they do.
Wow. Okay, I got to move it on as usual, but real quick before I let you go, did you used to tour with some rappers or something?
Yeah, well, I'm still part of Team 5000, and down here in Florida, Rick Ross and all of Akon, all those guys. Everybody knows each other. Everybody's like, even if you don't see each other in months, when you do see each other, it's like if you saw each other yesterday.
Are
So
you suggesting that Akon and Rick Ross know you?
absolutely, yes. As a
Oh,
matter of
wow.
fact, if you look up Akon and hurt somebody, uh, we did. That's one of the last videos that we did with Team 5000 and Data 5000, who's an MMA backyard fighter.
It's
Who
good shit.
now has
Do he pay
BYB.
well?
Yeah,
Does he
they.
pay well?
Yes, he does. He pay the fighters well.
I mean,
Yes,
does he
very.
pay? He does pay well. Okay. All
He
right.
pays the fighters very well. And as a matter of fact, we were the highest paid league when we first started, more than UFC and Bellator.
Fair enough. All right, CMB, I got to move it on. Good to
All
have
right,
you
man.
back
God
on here
bless
on the
you, and it's a
show.
pleasure to see you.
Absolutely.
and I'm watching in the background and I'm listening, and every now and then they
Good
get a
shit.
good laugh. Take care.
It should be. Appreciate you coming in. By the way, tap the screen, get your boy up to 20,000 likes. Some smaller audience this evening. I understand that night shows do not have the same type of audience as the day show, so it's only a couple hundred of us. Usually about 4 to 5 times as many people, but I do appreciate you tapping the screen. Get it up to 20,000 likes. That does help the algorithm. Brings in more MAGA. This is a MAGA friendly program. It always will be MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. Looking in the comments, wow, what an honor to have somebody so famous watching in the background. Jason, you need to stop that. Adam says I threw up in my mouth. Holy shit. But you know something? I was trying to see where my last caller was going, but I mean, we have to admit that there are some factual things he said. Is that if you are a prominent, wealthy individual, people will throw themselves at you. So you got to be very cautious with that because, as he pointed out, now his numbers were 9 times out of 10 the women coming to the top floor will do that. Well, that leaves the obvious statement of what about that 1 time out of 10? If you don't know which one that person is, then you are committing grape, as folks would say. So it's a really iffy thing. I mean, particularly in someone like Trump's case because he's married and things like that. He's leaving himself open for all sorts of other litigation coming from his wife and things like that. So if you're married, you probably shouldn't be on the top floor to begin with. Looking in the comments, took an awful long time to see where he was going. Okay. All right, let me go back to the box. We're asking the question you see on the screen, obviously behind you, is President Trump 100% innocent? Or, as my last caller alluded to, was it just groupies? The Honorable, one and only, Rainey Kane. Good afternoon. And rather, Rainey Kane, what do you think of the notion that this woman was a groupie and just kind of wanted it to set Trump up?
Um, yeah, I don't know about that either. Honestly, I think he's innocent, and I'm a bleeding fucking liberal. I don't believe these women. I literally don't. I don't believe people who, if you got essayed or raped 30 years ago, you've been living so far with it. Keep it to yourself. I'm a
Well, but
woman,
wait
and
a
I know I'm
minute.
not supposed to say that, but I don't believe these
No.
people.
So what do you think now? That you obviously are aware the Catholic Church had a whole lot of assault victims come forward that had been keeping it to themselves for years.
Yeah, they
You
were
don't
children.
well, yeah, but they kept it to
Yeah,
themselves.
those are children. Children are different. They don't know any better. Grown adults, she knew better. She knew she had options to go to the police. She had a way out. I don't agree with grown women. I don't know. I just don't believe it. I didn't believe Bill Cosby's situation either. Again, he went to jail for 27 years
Yeah.
ago or something happened, and he was 80 something years old. They put him in jail.
Yeah, but what about when, like in Cosby's case, when you're pointing out it was years ago, but when you make statements during the deposition, just like Trump did, Bill Cosby also talked about giving women quaaludes so that they would be more cooperative during sex. The problem is these men, while the event happened decades ago, when put in front of a microphone, they're saying some pretty condemning shit. How do you overlook that?
Well, we all know Trump is a pompous asshole, so he screwed himself, right? The whole thing. I mean, when they put the picture of the woman in front of him, and he didn't even realize that wasn't his ex-wife. He's like, "That's
Yeah.
my ex-wife, Marla." Like, no, fool, that's the victim.
Yeah.
This is the person
But wait a minute.
accusing you.
Under your what you're saying, you're an adult. You should know to come forward and things like that. Do you propose giving them a time frame for which they have to come forward, or they got to keep it to themselves?
Well, again, if you remember, she wasn't even initially trying to take him to court for this particular piece. She was just trying to get her name cleared because while he was president, he called her ugly and
Yeah.
basically said she was a liar and all of these, you know how Trump is.
Yeah.
All he had to do was when she wrote the book while he was president, all he had to do is slap a defamation suit on her and keep it in your in your legal lane, right? But he chose to defame her, and now the court of juries agree because he screwed himself in his deposition.
So you do believe he's guilty of defamation?
I
Defamation.
do. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. The defamation, yes. I
Okay.
mean, you just can't say what you want about people. So anyway, I know you got a lot of callers waiting. I just wanted to say that I don't
Well,
think
hey, you're always welcome on the program, but damn, I can't believe you said you don't believe any of these folks. I wasn't expecting
I
that.
didn't believe the women about Andrew Cuomo neither. I don't believe Tara Reid, who said Joe Biden threw her up against the wall in the halls of Congress in 1993, like in the middle of the
Bill
Congress. He
Clinton.
just threw.
You think Bill Clinton's innocent too?
No, we all know that happened. But again, he didn't say nobody. All he did was
No,
lie
we're
to
not talking
Congress.
about Monica Lewinsky. We're not talking about
Oh,
Lewinsky. We're talking about all the other women.
well, he was a philanderer when he was a governor. I mean, he's been a slut I mean, of his whole life. Hillary been dealing with it, so to me, that ain't my business. That's her business.
You know, there are some women that are going to accuse you of setting women back about 50 years for what
It's
you
okay.
just said.
I'm a realist. Like I said, I'm not a conformity here. I'm a realist, and I don't think again, ain't no way somebody can see me and I don't one have skin under my nails when I've scratched you up and I got DNA proof of that. So these people can
Yeah,
sit
but
here and say,
every woman is not as strong as you, Rainey. You'd have to admit that, right?
sure, yeah, I
I mean, what if
suppose.
what if you're what if you're an average? Let's say you're working in Trump's one of the Trump towers or whatever, and you really need the job you have, making 70, 80,000 dollars a year, and you know this guy is worth billions. It can put the whole weight of the entire system on you. He damn near runs New York, so you know your claim is not going to go anywhere. You can't see where a person might be fearful to come forward.
Um, no, because he wasn't. He was a real estate guy. He wasn't like the almighty power president as he
He
is
was
now.
But he was close friends with Rudolph Giuliani, who was the mayor of the town.
Okay.
In a town like New York, mob oriented, you're a close friend with the mayor and you're worth billions of dollars. Can you not see where a person might be like, damn, ain't nothing gonna happen to do it anyway?
Okay, so my point is, if that's really how she felt, let's just say that's how she felt. Why write about it? Why even talk about it? Why just leave it alone? If you're so fearful of that situation as the president, he's even more powerful. He could have had the FBI or somebody just come take you out. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like you
yeah. Well, she claims that she felt more comfortable as time progressed. I mean, what is the woman like 79 years old or something like that? Maybe you don't feel the same way you did, 20, 30 years ago that you do now.
Yeah. Okay, like I said, that's just my opinion. I'm not a Me Too movement type chick. I don't believe all women, and I never will.
Fair enough. All right.
All
Come
right,
on
darling.
back to
Have a
the
good
chat,
one.
Rainy. Good talk. You opened my eyes up on that one. All right. All right. Hey, folks, I don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their opinion. Me and Rainey typically agree on most things. I was a little shocked she had a difference of opinion, but I don't ever block, ban, or censor anybody for their opinion. I make that clear. No matter what the hell your opinion is, you are always entitled to it, and on this program, it will always be observed. I don't ever censor or even limit your time because you have an opposing opinion to the host. So understand it. Tap the screen, get your boy up to 5,000 likes. I do, or 25,000 likes. I do appreciate you folks on this evening live. It's far less of you in here than it normally is, but it is an evening live. We'll keep it moving. That was different though, Rainy. Wow. Okay, we will keep it moving with the one and only Moo, the Tuxedo Cat. Good evening, Moo. What do you think?
Oh,
100%?
what's going on, man?
Not much at all. Now, you
It's
heard my last guess. She
yeah,
believes that Trump is 100% innocent being railroaded. What do you think?
yeah, man. No, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's just like the worst kind of scum, right? And he'll do anything, you know what I mean? So you just need to take all these things these people say with a grain of salt, you know what I mean? And just keep it real in your own mind that this guy is a criminal and has been a scumbag since the 80s, and he's gonna
But what
scumbag it up
about
any
the
way he can, you
notion?
know?
Yeah, but I
Huh?
had a caller. What about the notion? The caller stated that this woman could have been a groupie. You got to assume
Yeah.
Trump was at the Playboy Mansion all the time. Trump has been around tons and tons of groupies. Hell, Stormy Daniels
Man.
likely was something like that. What about the chance that this woman was a groupie? And as my caller was alluding to, that she may have been
Mm.
actually asking for it.
What about the chance that he forgot those documents that he put in his drawer wasn't, that he forgot he put it there? And what were the chances that he wasn't working with Russia? And what are the chances that he didn't start a fascist movement on January 6th? And what are the chances that he didn't ever cheat on his wife? And what are the chances that he didn't know Jeffrey Epstein? And what are the chances that these people are absolutely mental and don't care what this guy does ever? You know what I mean? And that's the reality, right?
You
What are
just
the
threw me in the
chances?
garbage can with that. That was a great comeback. All right. So at the end of the day, you do believe he is guilty of this shit.
I mean, come on, man. You're talking about a guy who, he essayed a minor, my dude. You're talking about someone you need to be
Whoa,
having.
whoa, whoa, whoa! Where is that?
Yeah,
What do you mean? You're saying Trump
He got
assaulted a
accused.
minor?
He got accused of essaying a 14-year-old before, my dude. He's had so many people accuse him of different things. Anybody who sticks with this guy, you can just forget about them, okay? Because they're gone. They're totally gone, and you can just
Wait.
forget.
You said you can forget about what?
You can forget about them, my dude. They're gone. They're gone. You cannot talk to these people. The last guy he wants to talk about nightclubs and TV show. He watches too much TV. You know what I mean? Life isn't TV. It doesn't matter the entertainment industry. We're talking
Yeah.
about the government. You're talking about the presidency. You're talking about nightclubs, and I don't even know what that was about, my dude.
Well,
Okay.
but think about what he was saying. Now he tours with big name A-list rappers, and I mean, hang on a second. If you're hanging around these people, because he's using that to tie in to the fact that Trump himself is also an A-lister. I mean, Trump was he had The Apprentice. He's obviously well known throughout New York. Like I mentioned, he was with Hugh Hefner at the Playboy Mansion. I mean, he has a lot in common with
Mhm.
A-list rappers. I mean,
Okay.
people were throwing themselves at him. So that's what
Okay.
he was pointing out.
I
Which
mean,
I mean,
we know that A-list rappers treat women great. Most A-list rappers treat women with the utmost respect, and their music is extremely respectful towards women the majority of the time. So, yeah, Trump does have a lot in common with rappers, man. I hear you.
well, I'm gonna say this, man. I'm always willing to concede a point. I'm just going to give you kudos. You brought your fucking A game on this conversation.
I hear you.
you you are in front of wherever the hell I intend to go. I appreciate you coming on. I got to move it on, move. That was a
No problem, my
great.
dude.
That was a great couple comebacks, man. Come on back through anytime.
You have a great one, man. I love your show.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow, and he's correct. I mean, obviously, in comparing President Trump to hip hop stars, he's right. They're hip hop. The activity among hip hop stars towards women, it is very sexist, demoralizing and things like that. Church Keith Kid, definitely appreciate the subscription. Holla at you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Moo, as I see in the comments, crucial talent, giving them applause. I mean, some of the answers that Moo gave tonight, yeah, you definitely brought your A game. But we're going to go back to the box shortly, but just for shits and giggles, we were talking about the fact that Trump stated that he would not have assaulted this woman because she, quote unquote, was not his type. Which I want you guys to see this. It's only a minute and 30 seconds for you folks who have not seen it. But remember, just like with Stormy Daniels, Trump said, there's no way I would have, had any interactions with this woman because she wasn't my type. He said the same thing about Stormy Daniels. Here is that part of the deposition, which I'm only playing this because a lot of folks on the right probably has not seen this. I watched The Five today. It's a Fox News program, commentator program. And I watched because I was curious as to their commentary. By the way, Joker with the subscription. Damn, you guys are on point. Appreciate that. Show your boy some love. Appreciate that subscription, Joker. I want you to hear Trump. This is in regards to a woman that he said was not his type.
June 21 statement that's marked as Exhibit 20. You say, and this is the Litvin tweet, I never met this person in my life.
Yes.
Sir, you're saying that at the time you made the statement that's in DJT 20, you were not aware of ever having met Ms. Carroll. You have since seen a photograph that shows you with Ms. Carroll on a receiving line.
Along with a lot of other
Objection
people.
form. You have in front of you a black and white photograph that we've marked as DJT 23. And I'm going to ask you, is this the photo
Listen
that
to
you were
this.
just referring to?
I think so, yes.
And do you recall when you first saw this photo?
At some point during the process, I saw it's, I guess her husband, John Johnson, who was an anchor for ABC, nice guy. I thought, I mean, I don't know him, but I thought he was pretty good at what he did. I don't even know who the woman, let's see, I don't know who, it's Marla.
Damning.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla, yeah, that's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No.
Here. Oh, is that,
The person you just pointed to was
I
Jean
see.
Carroll.
Who is that? Who is this?
And the woman on the right is your then wife,
I don't know,
Ivana?
this was the picture. I assume that's John Johnson, is that Carol? Because it's very blurry.
Now, he stated that he would have never been with this woman because she wasn't his type. But when handed a picture of her back in her younger years, he identified her as his wife, as his wife at the time. So she looked like his actual wife, according to him. So the notion that she was not his type kind of pretty much disappears.
Your June 21 statement that's
pretty much disappears when you point out the woman and suggest she looks like your wife. So that was, she's close enough to his wife that he can't even tell looking back at the picture. I don't know who his attorneys were in this endeavor, but they had to be shaking their heads like, damn. Not only that, but let's just be clear, and I'll go right back to the box. If any of us, particularly talking to my gentlemen out there, if you were accused of rape, if you were accused of sexually assaulting someone, by the way, folks, tap the screen, get your boy up to 30,000 likes. I do appreciate that. The numbers are smaller than that, but tap the screen, show your boy, give your boy some help. But at the end of the day, if you were accused of assaulting someone in the manner that she accused President Trump of doing it, you would attend that shit so you could defend yourself. Why would he not go there to actually look the jury in the eye, plead his case, and actually let folks know this is a witch hunt and this is a bunch of bullshit? When you see President Trump around MAGA, his beloved MAGA, you see he is able to really schmooze a crowd and get folks to understand what the hell he's trying to say. Why wouldn't he go to his own grape case? Does that even make sense? The fact that you got these folks, the jury members, coming there and having to spend their day from work and deal with this jury, but the actual defendant is not here? What the hell? I got to be here and he don't? It took them 3 hours to come back with that verdict. That's how fast that was. 3 hours. But at the end of the day, yeah, he looks pretty bad in regards to the deposition. Looking in the comments, Marianne McClary says he would have put his foot in his mouth. Well, shit, it looks like he did that anyway. He knew he did that. Well, yeah, even if you did assault someone, though, in this manner, 30 years later, it's pretty easy to reduce it to a he said, she said. You've seen, I've had 2 guests on here already that have put the victim, in this case, in the groupie category. I've had 2 guests out of the few guests I've had this evening that don't even believe the women. I believe personally, just like with Bill Cosby, Trump would have got off on this if it wasn't for his own condemning testimony. Just kept his mouth shut. I don't want to talk about it. Let her charge me with whatever and just left it at that. Just like Bill Cosby with the Quaaludes. Most of the worst testimony came from the actual defendant. All right, going back to the box. Because we're asking, do you think Trump is 100% innocent? I'm asking you folks that. We'll keep it moving. Kiss my grits. This ought to be interesting. Good.
Hello.
Welcome back to the
Hello.
program. What's going on?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So he is totally innocent. So don't worry about it. Okay. That's all I got to say.
As a liberal, I'm not worried about it. As a
He
liberal, we're
said
kind of jumping up and down over here.
the pictures were blurry. Okay. What kind of pictures was he given? I want to see those pictures. Were they blurry?
Well, in regards to, well, actually, no, they weren't.
Did you
Because let me see.
did you see the
I could,
pictures?
yeah, I
They look
did actually.
they look blurry
Yeah.
from here.
Well, actually, when they, you trying hard. You trying hard. I'm trying to find the damn picture. You're not going to be to see it on my little 40-inch TV, but that picture is very clear.
That's Yeah, and
That
she
picture
looks,
is
I
very
mean, I'm telling you,
clear.
she looks like Beavis and Butthead. Would you do that? No, I wouldn't. Okay, that is
No,
a nasty pic. Okay, I wouldn't do that if it was 10 feet. Look at that nest on her head. Damn,
okay, let's
that's
go
too
with
much
what you're
Aquanet.
saying.
That's too much
Let's go with
Aquanet
what
for me.
let's go with what you're saying. Too much Aquanet looks like Beavis and Butthead. You talk about the hair.
Absolutely.
Then I have to
Definitely
ask
a
the
faux
obvious
hawk.
question. I have
Right,
to ask the obvious question. And if she is that
right,
unattractive, why the hell would
very
the man
much.
say that's my ex-wife?
Because the picture looks a little blurry. Um, but I could just tell. I don't know if that's a transgender or what. I mean, I do see a Bud Light in the background too, as well. So I don't know what that is.
Okay,
I don't
you
know.
trolling, you trolling, you trolling, you trolling,
I love you, man.
you
I love
trolling.
you, man. You
So
troll.
what do you think?
You. Tro-
How do you think he's going to do on appeal, though? You think he's going to get out of this?
He's gonna. It's a lawsuit. It's $5 to him. That's it. Case over. Next.
What about in terms of him running for office? You think this will hurt him at
He'll be
all?
fine. He'll be fine. I mean, hey, listen. If Tara Reid and Biden can get away with it, anybody can go in office. No problem. Because you guys don't talk about Tara Reid, so it doesn't matter. Let's move
Well,
forward.
it's interesting you would say that because I would love to play something for you because
Absolutely.
Being a Fox News watcher, the first thing I wanted to do after this, after he was found guilty, is tune
Right.
into the five and
Right.
see what they had, because I like the five. I'm a big, the five on Fox. Are you aware of that program?
Yes, that's my favorite programs. One of my
Yeah,
favorite programs. I
I
like Jesse
actually,
Waters.
yeah, I've been watching it since it literally came out,
Right.
and believe it or not, they gave the five comes on at 5 o'clock Eastern
Yeah.
time. Trump was
Right.
found liable maybe 2, 3 hours earlier. They
Right.
gave it less, they gave it about 90 seconds. They didn't give
Right.
any commentary on it at all. They gave it
Right.
about 90 seconds as to what happened, and they skipped over to talking about Biden. After
Right.
just 2 hours after a former president was found liable of sexually assaulting a woman, they gave it 90 seconds of coverage. What is
Right.
that?
It's the same type of 90 seconds of coverage for Biden and Tara Reid. I mean, you have to give equal news. Equal news, like Tara Reid and Biden, they don't even get news on that. They skip over that. We have to
Yeah,
find out on
I hear
TikTok
what you're
about Tara Reid.
I hear what you're saying, Snugs. But the
Yeah.
day the man is found liable, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Even if you're
Right.
100% correct, what about is the man gonna say this dude? Bringing up Tara Reid ain't gonna help him out at all.
Right. I know it's not going to help him out at all,
Yeah,
but
not
he,
gonna help him
it's
out at all.
it's $5 million. Case over. Let's move on. I mean, that's it. Really, it's done. It's done, my
But when
friend.
you think of when you said case over,
Yeah,
I
it's
remember
over.
talking to you. I was talking to you earlier, and we were talking about
Yeah,
Elizabeth Warren with Pocahontas and what she did on her law application in 1986.
yeah.
Why do you think Trump is going to? Why do you think that folks are going to be so quick to say case over? I mean, if we can bring up something on Elizabeth Warren from 1986, you think 2 hours after this guy is found liable, the case is going to be over with?
Yeah, after talking with you a little bit, you made some common sense. After being in my life, everybody, gave me a little bit of common sense. And you know what? At the
I
end of the
try.
day,
I try.
I got angry on my life. I'm done talking about stupidity. It's over. I'm done. I'm done, handsome.
Let me ask you this.
Uh,
Let me run this by you. His
yeah,
his his second closest competitor, although folks don't think he have a chance, is Ron DeSantis. And Ron DeSantis is expected to enter the race either this month or next. If
Yeah,
you were Ron DeSantis, Ron
right,
DeSanctimonious, the guy that Trump is
right,
calling all these names and things like that,
right.
and
That's
you
because
had
he
to
is
run a
sanctimonious.
yeah, if you had to run a campaign against Trump, would you bring up the fact that he's just been found liable of assaulting a
Oh,
woman?
well, actually, when it comes to money in my pocket, DeSantis voted 3 times in Senate that he wants to get rid of Social Security. So that's my livelihood. I don't care about what Trump did. And then he also wants to raise the age to 70 years old. So right now, DeSantis is out. Trump is in. Trump does not want to get rid of Social Security. So Trump's going to get the better note on that. So really, what my pocketbook is more important than what they did. You know, people who commit crimes. Um, if they know they did stuff 30 years ago, or if they know they did stuff in their life, that doesn't define who they are as a person. You know, people change. All right. This was 30
But
years
you're
ago.
talking about, wait a minute, Stunkles, you're talking about grape. This isn't still in the bag of potato chips. You're saying because
Right.
it happened a long time ago and
The
he
jury
never
said that
even
it
meant,
wasn't. The jury said that it wasn't grape. Didn't you
okay,
hear that?
but they did say sexual abuse.
Well, it wasn't grape. I don't know. I don't know. I
But
can't
you're
say.
okay with the
You know what?
sexual abuse part of it.
You know what? Just pay the $5 million. That's all she wanted anyway, was some money. Just pay it off. There's another Stormy Daniels story, whatever. Just pay it off.
So at the end of the day, do you think he sexually abused her at all?
Absolutely not.
No.
It's a he said,
15,
she said.
yeah, 15 other women are coming after him. You think they're all making it up?
Where's the cameras? Where's the surveillance? Do they have any surveillance of that attack? I did see that. Hey, what about the Law and Order program? It happened in the same store on the Law and Order program. Same story, same thing. She got it off of Law and Order. Same store, same story. Did you watch the Law and Order series? Did you watch it?
Yeah. Big fan
You
of
should
Law.
play it for
Big
you
fan
should
of it.
play it for your people.
Oh, I don't know the episode, but I did hear them talking about
It's the
that.
same exact. It is so exact. It's scary.
Wow. So, any idea why President Trump, after saying she ain't even his type, would identify her as his wife?
Well, I just saw the picture of her. She definitely wouldn't be someone I would not even mess with.
I mean, I get that, but he
I mean, look
said
at
that
the
was his
picture.
wife.
Look at the picture. Would you make out with that?
Yeah, I probably would. She's worth millions. Yeah, I would have hit it. Yeah. Actually, I believe this woman. What is her name? She actually was a pageant. She was a pageant winner. She was. Listen,
Oh,
if Trump tapped that ass, you look good. Trump ain't banging no ugly women. Now, come on now. I mean, but let me tell you this. Let me say this, and you give me you can tell me to, go to hell or what I'm getting wrong. But I
right,
said this from day one when Trump said grabbing about it, what was locker room talk. I have
right,
said from day one that if you are a billionaire, and Trump said when he came down the escalator, whatever, he said he's worth $10 billion. In my humble
right.
opinion, if you are a billionaire several times over, you don't
Yeah,
have to lie. You don't have to lie on your dick. If Elon Musk told me he had 40 hoes naked in a pool, I
right,
believe him
right,
because that is easy to do when you got that kind of money. So when Trump said he
right,
can grab women and stuff like that, that ain't
right.
locker room talk. You don't make up dick tales when you worth billions of dollars. When you say you did something, you probably did that. So I never thought it was locker room talk.
No,
I thought
no,
that was bullshit from day one.
that was all talk, no action. Did you watch when he got off the bus? No, nobody cares to watch him when he got off the bus. I watched when he got off the bus. He was talking his shit, got off the bus, acting totally normal. Wasn't grabbing nothing, wasn't hitting on nothing. Girls were walking up to him, and he was walking just like a normal person with that other guy, whatever the other guy named from entertainment. They were both
Right.
walking out fine. It's just like you and I, ready to go in the bar. We're going to get some at the bar, you and me. You and me, we're going to go get some. You know that. Shut up. Shut up and quit
No,
looking innocent there with
no, no.
your cute
No.
self, handsome.
Let me
Handsome.
correct you on that. Let me
Handsome,
correct you on
please.
that.
How many guys
Let
in
me-
this room hasn't had locker room talk? How many
No.
do you know how much dick women we're gonna get when I was driving them, Uber driving them on the Cubs series? There was women in the back of the car. I'm gonna get this dick and I'm gonna have them buy me drinks. I'm gonna get that dick. Please give me a break.
All right. Let me correct you and say this.
Yeah.
If I'm Trump and I'm worth
Yeah.
the money he was worth, and by the way, Trump was not an unattractive guy when he was younger. So you're
Right.
attractive, you're worth
Right.
many billions of dollars. You're hanging
Right.
at the Playboy Mansion with Hugh Hefner himself. So you got access to playmates and things like that.
Yeah.
You don't need to
Absolutely.
get on a bus and make up some stories. You got plenty
Right.
of real ones. There's no way
Right.
I believe that's a fake story. You got too many real stories to give somebody to have to make up some shit. I don't believe a billionaire lies on his dick. I just don't believe that.
Hey, listen, you believe Trump. You believe Trump when you want to believe Trump at the certain points of life when you're a leftist. When you're a leftist, you'll believe anything he says. But when he says something about what he's going to do with voters and what he's going to do as a president, you wouldn't listen to him. He's a liar. He's a liar. So any lefty's going to listen to whatever they believe in him. I love when you guys do this. I believe what Trump says because he's going to grab that pussy. You'll believe it 100%, but you hate him. You know what? I'm so sorry for saying that. Please forgive me. But I'm
No,
just
go ahead,
saying,
go ahead, go ahead. You
I'm
good,
just
you good.
saying, you only believe what you believe with Donald Trump because you hate him. You'll believe the hateful things, right? But then when he says, I'm going to help America, I'm going to make sure you have more money in your pockets, just like we did, right? He made a promise. We had better money back then. We had better groceries. We had better oil changes. But you guys don't want to listen to that. He's a liar. He didn't do it. It's Obama's, got it off Obama. You guys, you're on and off like a light switch. Okay. Just
Okay.
just start liking Trump. He's going to get you more money in your pocket at the next election. Do you
But what
honestly,
if people?
really
But
quick,
what if?
really,
But Snuggle, what if
yeah,
people are concerned with other things other than just money? Like, for instance, a woman does not want to be potentially executed for having an abortion. What if
right.
that's something she's concerned with?
Donald Trump is not going to get anybody. There's going to be no, nothing on that. He'll change that. DeSantis was the one that made that up, right? The abortion thing.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
No, it's a Republican doing. I don't want it. Put it this way:
that's not going
even
to
if you're
happen.
trying to say the fact
Trump
is,
won't do
even if
that.
you're trying to say it wasn't, even if you're trying to say it wasn't the party, like for
Right,
instance, President Biden never yelled out, "You're damn right, I'm gonna take your guns," but we
right,
hold Beto O'Rourke for saying that, so the
right,
whole Democratic Party gets to blame. Well, there are Republicans that have talked
right.
about literally having a woman executed for having an abortion, so that's going to make people
It's not
not
going
want
to
to vote
happen
for
under
Trump.
Trump.
How
It's
do you
not going to
know?
happen under Trump
How do you know?
because it's just not. Trust me,
Okay.
it's not
So
going
if
to
I
happen under Trump.
said, so if I said they're not going to take away everybody's guns under Biden, you would believe
It's
that,
not
right?
going to happen. It's not
Okay.
going to happen under Biden either.
All right.
I
All right.
believe that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Snuggles. I do got to move it on. I appreciate
Handsome,
you coming through.
handsome. I love you, bro. Honestly, I love our talks, and I will be back. Okay, and you guys listen. Vote for Trump if you want money in your pocket. Vote for Trump unless you really love this guy and all the border that's open. Vote for the other guy, Biden. Okay.
Well, we do care about the LGBT community and we do care about a women's
Right. You
rights.
know what the LGBTQ means? LGBTQ means let's get Biden to quit. I believe in the LGBTQ community as well. Let's get him to quit. You're finally on my page. Put that hat on, brother. Let's get Biden to quit. LGBTQ. You get it? All right.
I,
All
I
right.
don't
Hey, what?
I don't really think that's going to happen, but I do appreciate you coming on. I don't think that Biden doesn't have a reason to quit as long as you keep putting Trump up. By the way, that
Yeah.
is E. Jean Carroll on the screen right there. You're going to tell me she's really that ugly to you? I'd hit that. I would hit
give it,
that. Yeah, I
give it
would
that.
hit that. I would enjoy
No.
that too. I got to move it on.
Mm, no, no, no. My eyebrows are prettier than that. All right. See you later. She got
Are
no
you
eyebrows.
identifying? Are you changing your pronoun right here while we're on the air?
Shut up.
I gotta go. All right, looking in the comments, is she really that unattractive? I see somebody in the comments said gross. I mean, does she really look that bad? What's wrong with her? That is somebody. No, there's no unibrow there. That's a terrible television set I must have. You see that? There's no unibrow there. Her eyebrows are completely separated. What is wrong with her? She doesn't look attractive. Yeah, I'd get the hell out of that. All right, anyway, but that's just me. And folks who asking who this is the younger version of the woman that just won a sexual abuse case against President Trump. This is that woman that he stated was unattractive and not his type. I believe she did win. She won a pageant. I don't know, Miss Indiana or Miss some state, but this is her. So the idea that she's not attractive and not his type, she's blonde, probably tall, Milani-esque. So I don't know about that. Anyhow, you talking about they talking about Snuggles Unibrow. You guys are crazy. Bye bye White House. Wow. Trump mistaking her for his ex-wife. Yeah, I just showed the deposition of him doing that, and yeah, that looks damning. I'm going to go back to the box though. Anything and anyone that Trump touches is unattractive. Papa Storm, I can't buy that. I cannot buy that. Trump had too much access to the Playboy Mansion and things like that. Regardless of how you feel as Trump as a person, he's had some fine ass women in his life. Listen, it's not just something unique to Trump. Anybody that is a real estate mogul that owns, the majority of New York, owns some of the biggest places in New York, and got skyscrapers with his name at the top of them, got his own plane. You're gonna have access to some pretty hot chicks. It's no doubt. So I don't buy into the argument that anybody that Trump touches is unattractive. He's had some good looking women. All right, going back to the box, Tony Hawkins. Good evening and to the program. Trump is toast, says Sam Allen. Tony, good evening on the program. In the comments, Sam Allen said Trump is toast. Do you believe there's any validity to that?
No, I don't think so.
Think he'll survive it? Flying colors?
I do.
Why? If he's been found liable of something as heinous as sexual assault, why do you think he'll survive that with flying colors? Why is that?
Because I like you, handsome, but I got to go at you because you just did what he did. You just said she had money, so you'd hit that. So she said he had money.
That is true. That is 100% true. But the way she looked, even if she was broke, I'd roll up on that.
Right. And I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at him. I get it.
I ain't mad at him either.
It's all fucked up. It was 30 years ago. It was some crazy shit. I don't know what happened. None of us know what happened. The jury could have been paid off. They could have been right. We don't know.
Paid off? You think there's a chance you think there's even a remote chance the jury was paid off?
Absolutely. I think all this shit that's going on is so corrupt right now. All of it is so corrupt. On both sides. Not saying just his side. I'm saying both sides. There's so much bullshit and corruption going on right now. It is so crazy. I don't care for none of them. I don't care for either side. We need a third side. We need a new side.
Why can't he just run as an independent then?
See, I'm not that educated on how that works, so I can't tell you that.
Just say he doesn't want anything to do with the Republican or Democratic Party. Start collecting donations from, some of my beloved MAGA out there and run as the MAGA party.
Why can't we get new, younger people? Why do we have to keep having the same old bullshit ass people in here? Why can't we get them all out and get new, younger people in here? People that know what America is now.
Well, the problem is what America is now, at least from the Republican side of the aisle, it doesn't resonate with them because America is now pro-LGBT, pro-choice, and the Republican Party don't like any of that shit. So the Republican Party is losing the young crowd because they're going back towards Christianity and things like that. And the young crowd ain't fans of that stuff.
And I get that. But it's a younger America. We don't need 80-year-old people in office who don't know what resides with America now.
So would you rather have would you vote for Nikki Haley over Trump?
So I'm not sure. I haven't really looked. I don't even look into Trump. I don't look into none of them no more. I'm like, I'm like walking away from it all.
So you're aiming toward potentially not voting at all in 2024.
Correct.
Who did you vote for in 2020?
I didn't.
2016.
Didn't.
So you haven't voted for president. Did you vote in 2012?
No, because it's great. It's all corrupt. I don't want nothing to do with any of it anymore. I love America. I don't want to leave America, but America is it's going downhill. Our banks are
So,
crashing.
so you
Our
have so
jobs-
so what you're saying is you have never voted in any presidential election.
Nope. And I know a lot of people don't are going to say I don't have no say. I don't, I was never brought up in politics. Never brought up to care about politics.
Have
I
you
still
ever
pay my
voted for?
taxes.
Have you ever voted for anyone at all?
No, so I registered to vote for 22 and I was going to vote, but I didn't make the cut. I didn't get my registration in time, so I didn't vote. Now I was going to vote for Trump in 24, but I'm not voting anymore, dude, because it's all bullshit. It's all corrupt. It's all bullshit.
Wow. Well, you know, people are going to suggest if you don't vote, you don't have a say.
Right, and I just said that. I just said that. And I don't care what their opinion is of me. I don't care. But they all have an opinion about America, but they're not doing anything to change it. You can vote. You can vote all you want, but you're voting the wrong people in. Vote somebody new in. Stop voting for the same bullshit.
Well, but you're telling other people to stop voting for these old farts and vote somebody new in, but you're
And I
admitting
know
you haven't voted at all.
you're right, and I get it. I get it. I get what you're saying.
I mean, because they often say it starts at home. If you believe somebody younger should be in, vote for somebody younger.
And if I knew who that was that was legit, I probably would go. But I don't know Nikki. I don't. You said Nikki Haley. I don't know who she is at the moment.
And you got to get more into this, man. You got some really passionate opinions on politics. You got to actually start learning some of these candidates. It might open you up to some of these folks, man. If you really gonna be in the game. Get in the game. I mean, you're at home arguing at the TV at this point. You gotta get in the game, man. Figure out if
Uh,
you want younger people. There are plenty of younger people that are pursuing office. In fact, Trump is being primaried by a host of people that are all younger than him by a large margin, starting with DeSantis, Sununu, Chris Christie is likely to run. If you want people younger, they're out there.
yeah, but I can't believe I don't know, man. I don't really necessarily believe in DeSantis though. I don't know.
Why?
I
Why?
just don't know.
What's wrong with
I don't know.
DeSantis?
Of course, you got everybody saying he's paid off by the Soros. I don't know. I mean,
You wait
who?
a minute. Wait a minute. You really believe
No, I'm not.
someone that the right considers to be super far left, like Soros, would spend money on Ron DeSantis, who's tearing apart Disney? You really think Soros would fund that guy?
Not sure. I'm not sure at this point.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I mean, if George Soros is as far to the left as folks on the right paint him, he's not gonna put any money in Ron DeSantis. That's crazy. Ron DeSantis is anti-LGBT, pro-life, anti-Disney, anti-trans. George Soros not gonna send a penny to that dude.
I don't know. I
No,
don't.
that
Very
makes no
good.
sense. That
It
makes
might.
absolutely no sense at all to do that.
You might be right. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I'm still educating. I'm still learning. Like I said, I was never brought up in politics. I've only literally waken up to politics within the last year and a half. So
fair enough.
I'm learning from scratch.
Well, we all got to learn somewhere, man. I appreciate you coming in. At the end of the day, my opinion, my knowledge is no greater than yours. That's what we're here to do is exchange ideas, exchange things like that. But my humble advice is get in the game, man. Do your own research, do your own homework, talk to folks that have similar ideas as yourself. Get in the game. But nobody knows more than you in regards to what you want. Come on back on the program anytime, man.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, look in the comments. Ignorance is bliss in the MAGA Republican Party. Wow. Yikes. And by the way, speaking of MAGA folks, tap the screen. This is a MAGA friendly program. MAGA are always my preferred guest. Get your boy up to 40,000 likes. Got a small crowd here tonight. I get it, but I do appreciate you rolling with your boy. You could be anywhere you want to be on the app. The fact you're with me is always an honor. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. The fact that you might disagree with the host, you know what I always say, never means a damn thing. In regards to the comment section, Moody Tuxedo Cat, he was wrong about the corruption. I'd be curious to know how you believe it was wrong. Larry Elliott, good evening. Welcome to the program. At the end of the day, is President Trump 100% innocent of what happened in New York? Good evening, Larry.
How you doing, brother?
Doing good.
No,
Good to have you on.
Max, shut up. Sorry.
Good.
I have no doubt he did it. What bothers me is the fact that this was 27 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So,
folks do sometimes internalize assaults. In fact, most women, they say, do not even come forward at all. You want a
the
time
thing
frame
that
on it?
bothers me was when he was donating, because he was former Democrat. When he was donating to everybody, nobody cared because this was prior to all the donations he was giving out. So why wasn't it an issue then?
Well, I mean, you can say the same thing about Bill Cosby when he was on TV talking about pudding pops and putting kids on his lap. Nobody had a problem with him either, but they came out
I
later
did.
on in his life.
Any man who would take advantage of a woman, whether it's through chemistry or just forcing them, is an asshole. That's the way I look at it. Period. And if Trump
But
did
you,
it, then yeah, he's guilty, and we all know that he is an asshole. But he's an asshole that did a lot for the country. Case in point, I'm a disabled veteran. I spent 10 years waiting for the VA to do something to get my benefits up to where they needed to be. Trump come along, outsourced it all, had the backlog done in 4 months. He is the only one that ever did that. Wasn't Obama, wasn't either Bush daddy or Bush son, wasn't Clinton, and it ain't been Biden. It was Trump.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with supporting President Trump if your personal life was enhanced because of his actions or his policies.
Right.
But there's a lot of Americans that do not feel like their lives got any better under President Trump. So you have to understand, like, for instance, folks who sympathize with Black Lives Matter, for instance, he suggested that that group was a terrorist outfit. So it depends on what your personal aspects are, because there's a lot of Americans that do not think Trump did a lot good for America.
I think all lives matter. What bothers me about that was what happened in Portland, what happened in Seattle, things like that. And there was, to this day, has never been an arrest. There's never been an investigation in either one of those. Make it even, make it fair.
Well,
go ahead.
but if you want to make it fair, in regards to making it fair, and Trump did make a big fuss about the rioting and looting and things that were going on. But then when it happened on January 6th, he referred to that as a love fest. Do you see that as fair?
A girl got shot. A veteran got shot. No, I don't see that as a love fest. I don't. And I never will.
He's also entertained pardoning those folks. So when you point out that nobody got arrested in Portland in some of these Black Lives Matter riots, he's talking about pardoning the ones that went into the Capitol building on January 6th. Do you see that as fair?
No, I don't. I truly don't. If you do the crime, you got to pay. There's got to be consequences. Period.
What about the idea that on that day, you got folks that suggest he was literally trying to upset democracy?
No, I disagree. I truly do.
What do you think? Why do you think Mike Pence is actually stating that, Trump almost got him unalived? Think he's making it up?
I agree with that too. I think it's being stretched out way too far. I really
do. Do you believe on January 6th, Mike Pence's life was in danger at all?
No, not really. Have you seen the video that Tucker Carlson has?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen Tucker Carlson's video. I've seen the January 6th hearings committee video. And I think they both are accurate but they
Yeah.
omit the other side. So
There
if
you
you
go.
watch Tucker Carlson's video, it's all about, the QAnon shaman or whatever being, invited
Michael
in. The
Collins,
police are,
batted
yeah,
around. Yeah.
yeah. So
But I
he
also saw
doesn't
the
come across
video
as any, yeah, he doesn't come
when they were
across as
trying
any
to break
danger at
in.
all.
Yeah.
Huh?
I saw the video where they were trying to break in and Capitol Police did fire and that lady did die.
Do you think that
So
was a justifiable shooting?
I don't know. I wasn't there. So that's hard for me to say.
You didn't
Um,
see you didn't see the video of her being shot?
I saw, I saw the video of her being shot. I did not see a weapon.
Yeah, but you got hundreds of people behind you. You
Yep.
got the officer who fired the shot with interns or whatever the case may be cowering behind him. He has a firearm extended. There's a broken window, a partition, and the window has been broken. And Babbitt is trying to climb through the window. What do you think the officer should have done under those circumstances?
Honestly, if it was me, I probably would have pulled out a club and knocked the shit out of somebody. If they don't
In
have a
front of
weapon,
that crowd, one
yep.
one black guy in front of that crowd beating the hell out of
With
a
that
tiny
glass,
white woman with a club. You think
hey,
that would have went well?
probably not. But I look at things differently. If you're going to do the crime, you got to pay the consequence. And that's
You know what?
something that I see this country, there's no consequences anymore. There's also no checks and balances. People get to do whatever the hell they want to do, and that's it. Case in
Yeah, but
point.
think about what you're
No,
saying
no,
in that
no.
case, though.
Let me finish here for a minute. Because how old are you?
I'm 50.
Okay, I'm 62.
Okay.
One thing that I do remember, way back when, none of us ever argued about politics because we all knew politicians were full of shit and they didn't give two shits about us unless it was an election year. So if you wanted to keep your friends, you didn't talk politics. Now it's front and center for everyone. And
But
I
isn't
got to
that a
want,
good, but isn't that a good thing that we're all actively involved? The reason we didn't argue is because a lot of us didn't give a damn and didn't vote at all.
no, well, that may be in certain parts, but most of the people I knew voted.
Okay. All right. Most of the people I knew did not. I'm
Yeah.
actually pleased to see so many minorities talking politics. When we came up, hell, even my parents did not advise me of getting in elections and things like that. So I got to say, from my side of the fence, I'm glad to see so many folks are actively involved in politics because I believe that a lot of the complaints that people who look like me often launch is due to the fact, well, if you don't vote, you can't expect them to do anything for you. So I applaud folks for getting involved.
Yep. No, I agree with them getting involved. What I don't like is the division we've got right now. I blame a lot of that on Fox. I blame a lot of it on CNN. I blame a lot of it on politicians. This is what they want.
Yeah. Do you think Trump wants division?
I think they all do, both sides, because it benefits them.
Right. Wow. So in other words, no matter who we put in office, they're going to be a divisive figure intentionally.
Well, I mean, look at how divisive Trump was. Now look how divisive Biden is.
Yeah. I don't, something when I gotta, on behalf of Biden, I will say this. Biden is talking about dark, what do you call them? Dark, he calls you guys mag. I forget what he says for MAGA. He has some type of name for MAGA, but for the most part, all of his attacks are aimed at MAGA. You don't hear
Yeah,
him really criticizing women or criticizing any other group for the most part. Under President Trump, he was at odds with a whole lot of groups, full and complete ban on Muslims, Mexicans sending rapists and murderers, shithole countries, Baltimore's a shithole, Chicago's a shithole. He was attacking a hell of a lot of people
no, I agree.
simultaneously.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going to sit there and call anybody a name because the absolute definition of freedom is for you and I to sit here and have a different opinion, and it's okay. That don't make
So let me
that give anybody the right to call anybody a damn name.
Fair enough. So let me ask you this question, because many folks on the right, or at least up until just a couple of months ago, folks that supported Trump, my beloved MAGA, believed that Ron DeSantis, considering how well he did in the midterms, for getting reelected as governor, most folks truly believed that he would give you just about all of the same policies as President Trump in regards to division and name calling and things like that, and age, because my last caller was talking about getting younger blood in there. Why do you believe there's not a whole lot of MAGA that would go with DeSantis? He's younger. You're going to get the same policies for the most part. He can serve 2 terms instead of one. He doesn't have all of the court cases orbiting around him that Trump now has. Why do you believe so few MAGA want to go with DeSantis over Trump? The difference?
I don't know, because if DeSantis ran, I'd probably vote for him. Based
He's
on
going to
what he
run.
did during
He
COVID
is going to run.
with Florida,
Yeah, he's going
yeah,
to run. I would put the odds around 4-1 that he's going to run. He's already got commercials and things like that floating
yeah, I've
around.
seen that.
What is it? Never
Yeah.
back down. Trump has his Make America Great Foundation doing anti-DeSantis commercials, but DeSantis does have never back down commercials floating around. Let me ask you this from a Ron DeSantis standpoint. Do you think it would be beneficial to him to bring up that Trump was just found liable in this sexual abuse case?
No,
You don't think he
DeSantis
should
has
bring it?
got a good enough record that he don't need to be smearing. He don't. He can go on everything he did during COVID, and he's going to come out smelling like roses.
Okay, what if DeSantis had been found liable in a sexual abuse case? Do you think Trump would use it on him?
Absolutely. That's just
It
Trump.
didn't take you. It didn't take you a second to come with that. So,
No,
all right,
I mean,
I agree
honestly,
with you.
in 2016, it wasn't that we wanted Trump. We just didn't want Hillary.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it.
I grew up in Southwest Missouri. I know where some of those bodies are buried.
Mm,
Trump,
mm, okay, so Ron DeSantis versus Trump, you would have DeSantis.
yeah, absolutely. Because I
Wow.
think he has the ability to bring this country back together.
Well, you got to tell him to leave Mickey Mouse alone because that ain't helping.
Yeah, I know. Mickey Mouse still owes me $50 from the last poker game too. Damn it.
I gotta go. All right, good talk, Larry. Come on back in anytime, man.
All right, brother. You too.
Absolutely a pleasure. All right, looking in section, Southwest Missouri all makes sense now. Southwest Missouri, what is that, Joplin? I've been an over the road driver. I've been through all of those towns. Used to go from Joplin down to into Arkansas, down there where Walmart headquarters is and things like that. DeSantis has divided Florida. Together, my ass, says Malcolm Francis. Well, I've said before on the program that, I said this a few months ago before DeSantis started losing. Appreciate the shades there, Adam. Thank you. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you for your generosity. Not a lot of you folks in here, so I definitely appreciate the love. I said before DeSantis started being competition to Trump, I stated that he would have been a far better choice in terms of unifying the party because Trump has lost the likes of the Liz Cheneys, the Mitt Romneys, the Mitch McConnells. Those folks do not want Trump reelected. Neither does Mike Pence. Chris Christie, a lot of these prominent Republicans do not want Trump reelected. If Ron DeSantis led the ticket, most of those folks would come back and support him. So I do strongly believe Ron DeSantis would be far more unifying to the Republican Party. However, Ron DeSantis, as of late, has went down a rabbit hole in effort to please MAGA, to please the Trump base. He's taken on some of these social issues, taking a hard stance on some of these social issues that is really starting to cause division amongst his own ranks, such as going after Disney, the LGBT stuff, CRT stuff. Now, going after CRT is not going to lose you any Trump voters. I get that. But going after Disney, when you figure how much money Disney brings to the state of Florida, you got Nikki Haley already like, well, shit, if you want to bring Disney here, we'll take them. That's not good. If Disney leaves Florida, they're going to take billions per year with them. All over, you don't like the color of Snow White or the Little Mermaid or something. That's a fight he should not have gotten involved in. I think in effort to please MAGA, to please the Trump base, he may have went too far. He had smooth sailing. That guy kicked ass in the gubernatorial race in Florida. He didn't have to do this. He didn't have to do it. So he may have went too far. Looking in the comments, I will never go to Disney World as long as it is in Florida, says Church Key Kid. Yeah. I mean, Florida is, he went too far in my humble opinion. But at the same time, I'm not MAGA, so I get it. Lee Mo. Appreciate that. Come on through. Welcome to the program. Good evening, Lee Mo. Talking about
let's get later in. No,
Hold on, quiet down for a minute. Hey, yeah, I be listening to you a lot, and like as far as like you think a little bit like me. Like I don't really mess around with the Democrat Party because the history with them in our community and stuff like that. But I don't really see you like I see you got like the handsome liberal and stuff. I don't really see you as a liberal because most our people that I talk to about politics, because I ain't a mega supporter, I'm a Trump supporter. Most people I talk to about, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri too, the city and everything. And I'm also
I was just there.
more
I was just there on just left there Sunday.
right. I'm also a Moorish American. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't a Moorish American. Moorish Science
I don't know
Temple.
what that is. I don't know what that is.
I'm a Black Power Muslim.
Okay. All right. Never heard of it before.
And I well, you might look it up after. And I support Trump. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not a Republican. Most of the Republicans I wouldn't vote for. I don't look at Trump as a Republican. See, that's what I like him. See, if Trump was really loyal to the Republican Party, he wouldn't have got indicted. He wouldn't have got impeached. So you got to look at the factors. They really don't want him back in office. That's why the stuff happening to him. That's why I try to tell my people, like, man, you can vote for Trump if you like him, and you can vote to put safeguards in place other places. I don't think black people should be loyal to no party because they use us like that. Everything that they're happening to. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this: Do you believe President Trump is good for the African American community?
Yeah, he did more than Obama. And I'm going to say that because, excuse me, I was paying homage to the federal government during the time when Obama was in office. See, I don't go off propaganda. See, I turn the media off. And then I go look at laws and stuff was passed, and all the major laws that has been done against the black community has been done by Democrats all the way up to today, the crime bill, even Black Wall Street. So this change they say that happened in the Democrat Party on change was black people went to it. Like even in the current world today, only thing they inform us about is killings of the police. It happens. Like I said, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. It happens 100%. I ain't gonna get in an argument with people that say we making it up a line because you don't know. If you think black people calling each other all around the country say, hey, we gonna make up a conspiracy on the police like we know each other or something, it shows your race prejudice, not race, it shows your prejudice right there. Like we call each other. Go ahead.
Do you believe, now you're mentioning how harmful the Democratic Party has been to African Americans going all the way back to Black Wall Street and things like that. Do you submit to the party switch? Do you believe that even happened?
Well, see, you got to look the Trail of Tears up and how they confusing history and putting the name. Well, you got to look at when the Trail of Tears supposed to happen, the route they supposed to took. But see, that's a whole nother thing we'll get off to with the indigenous people. I don't really want to go off and how they diluted history. So with you there, I'm there with you, but I'm gonna say it's bigger than that and stuff. It's some stuff with the indigenous people and how the name. I don't want to get off into because it create a lot of back and
Wait,
forth.
let me interrupt you. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, we know historically the Democratic Party was a party of slavery, the party of the Confederate South. But
The
many would
party
suggest
of mass
that the party,
incarceration too.
yeah,
The
but
party of mass incarceration too.
many would suggest that the parties have switched and the racist element of the Democratic Party switched over to the Republican Party. And do you believe any of that?
No, I think the white Republicans that's racist are just as prejudice as the white Democrats that's racist. And from experience, I know, and I'm gonna say that because if you don't agree with the white Democrats, they show you that they act the same way towards you as the white Republicans do, just like the LGBT community do. If you don't agree with them, they act like they white supremacists towards you.
So what you're saying is, what you're saying is there are white racists in both parties.
Right, I'm saying it's as many white racist Democrats as it is Republicans. And, and you got to understand who was voting for Trump. What he's supposed to alienate his vote for people who ain't gonna vote for him? He was like that. So it's all right for Biden to lie to us. All the other Democrats that lie to the black community about what they gonna do to get in office, but Trump can't lie to people and act like, yeah, I support that and what would to get in office, and it ain't seen the same way. See, that's why I say you turn the rhetoric off, like even about the Ukraine stuff. Ukraine is 75% a Nazi, they army, Nazi supported government. If you go out, if you see Poland, all that, look how they treating the Africans over there. Everybody who support original countries of NATO or ex-enslavers.
So I can't submit to that, but let me just ask you this. If Trump is better for African Americans, I have to ask the obvious question. Why do you believe so many African Americans disagree with you?
Because a lot of them, they go off, they listen to Cardi B, they media influenced. If you look at the, now listen, I'm from the ghetto, I'm from the city, I listen to rap. Listen what I'm saying, I'm talking about us. I ain't talking
Wait
like
a
I'm
minute,
talking about
hold on.
somebody.
I'm talking about the likes of Oprah Winfrey, Tyler
Come,
Perry, some
you
of
talking
the
about,
LeBron, hang on, the LeBron James types. You think that they're having an issue with the Republican Party because of media? You don't think Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry are smart enough to make a decision on their own?
now, but you gotta understand how I look at them and who they is in the position they play in society. I think they misleading the people, like that stuff with the way. I don't, and anybody support that. I can't support them because I don't care what somebody do as an adult. But as a kid, we was kids. So to tell me I was a kid, I can make a decision. I knew I couldn't. To say another kid can do it, they're attacking. Just like the laws, they keep making it seem like they striking them laws down on black education to take so they won't be teaching about black history. But every time they put a bill in about black history, they got a career view attached to it, and that's really what they blocking. And here come the Democrats. Look, we tried to put this in for y'all, and they blocked it. They racist. They don't tell you they really blocking the little career thing that they can teach to our kids in school. Look at the bills. That's what's going on.
Okay, so there's a lot of African Americans that believe Trump is intolerant. Do you believe? Why do you think so many African Americans suggest that Trump is racist?
Because they've been told it. Because we know Joe Biden, your age, you know Joe Biden racist. No matter how you look at the rest of the Democrat Party, and you don't want to say it if you loyal to him, but your age, you know Joe Biden racist. Even the stuff that slip out his mouth right now. Why so many black people support him knowing he racist? Because they've been told he ain't. See, if you ask the black community what did Obama done for the black community, like not on the argument you talk, this me talking to you, we trying to figure it out. I'm saying he ain't, you saying he is, so I'm like, what? Convince me. Like,
Have you
if you
seen
ask
how
them, hold
many
on, every time I ask
African?
them, they start talking about Trump, and Trump ain't
No.
even in my conversation. Go ahead.
Have you seen how many African Americans that Obama has given jobs to throughout Washington and things like that owe their entire career to Obama? All of the diversity that he promoted when he was president.
I ain't see that, but you know what I saw? I saw the schools shut down in my community and be conformed to like Confluence Academy. Now the population rate, look at the population growth in St. Louis now. When I go outside in the summer, I used to see people everywhere. I don't even see people no more. I've been tripping. Like I'm working on houses, trying to buy the old houses and rehab them. Man, if you see St. Louis now, man, they used to be like it just got warm. You know, people outside. People ain't
Yeah, but
nowhere, man.
are you blaming the degradation of St. Louis on the president?
No, man, I'm blaming. I mean, excuse me. No, sir, I'm blaming it on the politics of the because I'm in a Democrat-controlled city.
What
Our
about your
city should.
state though? Is your governor's a Republican? Does he not have any responsibility for what's going on in his own state?
Right. Well, he do. He
Do
do.
you blame him?
Yeah. I
Okay,
don't.
because I'm
I'm not a
seeing Democrats.
Hold on. Listen. I'm not a Republican. Remember,
Right.
I'm not a Republican. So coming that way with me, yeah, I'm with you with that too. I'm just support Trump. So you couldn't get an argument with me disagreeing. That's why I say I think like you. You just lean more left than I do. Like I don't see how no man. Like I don't see how no man can support abortion without a previous excuse my lingo how we talk down here, well, without some type of thing in it that say we don't have to give them permission, they don't have to talk to us about it.
So you
Like
believe
I ain't talking about
so
some
you
rape
believe
stuff
that
or something like that happened, but you can get pregnant with me. Why would I support something that it ain't some type of law in it that say you have to discuss it with the father of the child? Why would I support something that take all my rights over my child? Well, how could a
so
man
what you
support that?
so what you're saying is that if you get your girlfriend pregnant, she should not be able to make a choice without your permission?
What you mean?
If you get your girlfriend pregnant and she wants to terminate the child, she should have to get your permission, is what you're saying.
Yes. If she want to keep them, should she have to get my permission?
Yeah.
If I don't want them, if I don't want them, and she want to keep them, should she have to give my permission? Because no matter what, I'm financially, she can say her body my choice, but I'm financially responsible according to law the rest of my life. So then
Yeah.
my body my choice is some BS. So
Mm.
I can't keep giving them all the courts over me because look how they use them. They didn't align with the LGBT community who don't want them to have kids.
So let me
How can
ask you to you, let me present it to you this way in regards to, let's say your girlfriend, you have gotten your girlfriend or wife pregnant
Hey, look,
and they
look, you
don't
see the
want the
comments?
child.
Hold on, look. You see the comments? You see what I mean by the white Democrats when they don't agree with you, the type of stuff they start, they just as racist as the white Republicans. See, this is what I mean. This is what I'm trying to tell black people.
Okay,
We
okay.
not Democrats.
Let us conversate. We're not here. Talk to me as
All right, go
opposed to
ahead,
the
go ahead, go
comments.
ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so you've gotten your girlfriend or wife pregnant, and she does not want the child, so she goes out on her own to maybe a different state or something like that, and terminates the child. Do you believe she should be held criminally responsible for not getting your permission?
Or man, she killed the baby. I don't think abortion is right, period. But that's my. I don't think abortion is right, period. So but I ain't gonna attack it from that view of criminality of it.
You
No,
said she. So wait a minute.
I think she should have to. I think
You
she
said
should
she.
have to
Hold
pay
on. Wait
some
a
type
minute.
of
Wait a minute.
financial.
You
Go ahead.
said she killed. You said she killed a baby. If you kill a baby,
Yeah,
you generally go to jail. Do you think that if she terminates the child without your permission, she should face any criminal liability?
I don't think she better terminate a child. So with or without my permission, that's why I was trying to say I'm not gonna ask you on that because I don't think these abortions should be legal. I think in some cases they it might be good, but I think it should be the hardest thing in the world to get. I don't think you should be standing in front of Planned Childhood making a video talking about you gonna kill your baby. Or I should be watching all these TikToks about these women happy, these little girls, they ain't even women yet. Because if you look at
How
the
do you
age that do that,
respond? How do you respond to someone in the comments like Church Key who would say, if you don't like abortion, then don't get one? How do you respond to somebody who would tell you that if you don't want this, then don't do it, but don't tell somebody else what they can and can't do?
I can say, but the same people would tell me that'll be on another subject, voicing their opinion. Why can't I voice my opinion on, especially when they're attacking my kids with their opinion? If they was keeping their opinion to themselves, it'd be different. But when you start trying to force your opinion on mine, what I teach now, I got to attack it because I don't agree. Whether it go against my religion, my beliefs, or whatever, it's something that's my job purring in this. Because when they go out and go shoot up a school, a drive-by, and we ain't gonna keep it to a drive-by or whatever they do, I'm the parent that's looking and feeling responsibility, whether the government can't tell me I ain't responsible for something that I know I am. I supposed to know my kid.
All right,
I'm
Mo.
supposed to know my kid. The government can't say, oh, it ain't your fault and make me feel better.
All right, Mo, I do got to move it on. Hey, good talk, man. Come on back in here anytime.
I like you, though. That's why I followed you, though. I like you, man. Right on.
All right. We don't agree, but you got some passionate opinions. You're always welcome back.
All right.
All right. Looking in the comments, so what about exceptions for grape and SA? Depends on who you talk to, but my humble opinion, when you got a mom in Louisiana that was forced to give birth to a child without a skull, when you got a child in Ohio that was sexually assaulted and had to drive to the state of Indiana, when you got a politician in North Carolina that's suggesting that a woman that has an abortion should qualify for the death penalty, and you got Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, not Mitt Romney, but Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, and Mike Pence all saying they want a federal abortion ban. I'm just going to tell you my humble analysis based on all that information is that they want a national abortion ban with little to no exceptions at all. I would submit to you that the writing is on the wall where they want to go with this. And that would probably exclude exceptions for incest and sexual assault. I mean, just look at the direction that some of these folks are going in. There's no huge outcry from the Republican Party in regards to Republican candidates that are saying that if a woman has an abortion, she should be thrown in prison or executed. That actually happened. You don't hear them saying much about that. You hear them talking when a liberal, AOC, the Squad, Nancy Pelosi, when they say something that's really extreme, they're all over it. You don't hear them complaining about that you got Republicans talking about if a woman has an abortion, she should be executed. They're not saying anything about it at all. So it's safe to assume there's a large portion of that party that's down with that. Same thing I brought up before when you talk about the LGBT and stuff like that in schools and folks are saying it's indoctrinating kids. Governor Abbott, Greg Abbott, governor of the state of Texas, currently has a law in the books that requires all schools in Texas to display the 10 Commandments. That's an extreme, pro-religious take. You don't hear the right complaining about that. That's indoctrinating children for Christianity. You don't hear the right complaining about that at all. So just understand, I think the writing's on the wall in regards to the direction we're talking about. Looking in the comments, at least the guest could articulate his words, unlike Joe Biden. Be nice there, Juke. Oh no, you mean more black babies. Come on, Sanger was a racist trying to control black population. Tony Rodriguez. In regards to racism, in regards to American history, there is no denying that most of the births in this country come from minorities. Oftentimes, minorities have sex irresponsibly and just pop out children where oftentimes a lot of the folks on the white side of the aisle will try to get their affairs in order before having children. Here's the problem with that. All of a sudden, abortion becomes against the law. Right now, 500,000 to about 750,000 pregnancy terminations are performed in this country every year. Even if you go to states' rights, which would mean abortion is going to be banned in some of the states, let's say the 750,000 abortions per year number drops to 200, 300,000 or something like that. Do you believe America is prepared to handle potentially 300,000 unwanted children that are going to be mostly minorities? Mostly minorities. You talk about right now we have a huge anti-entitlement culture. And you're going to add another 200,000 to 300,000 children in on top of those rows every single year. This is going to become a problem very quick. This is literally a case of the dog catching up to the truck, and it's like, okay, well, what the hell do I do now? I don't believe it's been well thought out. I believe the whole goal was to protect the sanctity of life. And that is where the conversation ended. No one actually sat down and pondered, okay, then once we do this, what are we going to do after that? We know the foster care system sucks. We know that the child system that we have in most states is not capable of handling the current load that they have. And you're going to add hundreds of thousands of children that the moms don't want, so you can assume a lot of them are going to go right into this system. You think there's going to be the same folks that are anti-abortion are also anti-entitlement. So what do you think they're going to do? We all know you can't legislate morality. So just because you ban abortion doesn't mean people are going to stop screwing or going to stop having sex. That's not going to happen. My humble opinion, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm willing to admit I could be wrong, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. Is that if we start having women that pop out 6 or 7 children, and because she can't abort them, she actually brings to term 6 or 7 children, and she does not have a large income, can't afford it, we're going to start punishing those women. Just like we often talk about punishing fathers that have children they can't afford. They're going to do that to women, which is why a lot of women are not in favor of what's going on, because there is no good outcome for women in what's going on right now. None. You can either lose your right to terminate a pregnancy, you got folks taking it as far as incriminating you or maybe even executing you, or at the very least, they're going to start punishing women that are having a bunch of children irresponsibly. There is no good outcome for females in this at all. Folks are telling you, well, you don't have to live in this state, you can go somewhere else. I think that's bullshit. Because at the end of the day, if you are truly a believer in protecting the sanctity of the unborn, the sanctity of life, you truly believe you're saving babies, you're not going to be okay if a resident of your state can cross a river, drive up the highway, and go and terminate that baby's life in a different state. No, you're going to want to stop it there too. If your goal is saving babies, your goal is saving babies. You're not going to be okay with it being done 30, 40 miles from you. The next step is going to be figure out how you can stop it there as well. That just only makes sense. I want to save babies, 750,000 per year aborted. All of a sudden, I get states' rights, and that number goes from 750 to 200,000. What's the next logical step? How can I save the lives of those remaining 200,000 babies? Anyone who wants to pretend like that's not the case doesn't make any sense at all. It's the same thing with the liberals on the gun debate. And I'm going to tell you this as a liberal, and I'll go back to the box. But the liberals say the same thing. We're not trying to take away all guns. We just want to ban assault rifles. If assault rifles are banned and the death toll comes down, let's say, for instance, 10, 15% of murders drop, what's the next logical step? Let's see how we can drop it some more. What else can we ban? That's what's going to happen. Both sides are lying about their intentions. Both sides want federal bans on this shit, and they're trying to make it sound like something else just so they can get their feet wet and get in the door. But if you're truly trying to save lives, you don't stop in the middle of it. You keep going. And by the way, there is a lot of similarities between the gun debate and abortion. Both sides think they're saving lives. That's why they're doing it. Both sides are passionate because both sides think what they're doing is saving lives. And the other side think that they're batshit crazy for their beliefs. But that is kind of how it goes. All right, we'll go back into the box. Bacardi, good evening and welcome to the program. Mr. Tim, 2024 Team Cawthorn. I don't know about that, but I appreciate it. We were asking the question, do you think President Trump is innocent? You know, he's been found liable, but do you think he's innocent of what they've gotten him on?
I haven't been following that, but I'm up here
Whoa,
to
whoa, whoa,
talk
whoa,
about.
whoa, 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 whoa. You have not heard that Trump was found liable for sexual assault today or sexual abuse?
Oh, Trump, you said Biden.
No, my fault. My fault. No, we're talking about Trump. My apologies. Do
Okay.
you think Trump is innocent of what they found him liable for?
No.
Hmm. You think, okay, now he did escape the grape accusation. So
Yeah.
he wasn't found liable for grape. Do you think he did that?
Yes.
Hmm. So you think he did everything?
Yes, I do.
Why? What would make you think that a man of his stature would be capable of doing something like this?
Well, because I don't have a high opinion of Trump. So let's just say that, especially when he was campaigning and what he said on the bus with that other gentleman.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
So
That
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 leads
definitely.
me so that comment right there leads me to believe, what his thought process is and how he thinks and his sense of entitlement when it comes to the female gender.
How about folks though, particularly his supporters that would say that was just locker room talk?
Nah, nah, nah. I've been in plenty of locker rooms. We don't talk like that.
I don't know where that came from either, but he is suggesting that he was just joking and things like that. What about the idea that this woman is coming forth 30 years later, does not even remember the year it took place? Is it possible that she literally is just trying to get on the gravy train?
Yeah, people may say that, but see, that's why victims rarely come forward, especially 30 years ago, what the climate was. Do you know what I'm saying? Because these people have already. I'm not saying these people. These women have already been victim of a horrible situation, and then they're ashamed, and then to come forward and what they would be put through, similar to what this woman is being put through now. That's why victims rarely come forward. And people like Trump, they know that. So that's why they continue to do things like this.
Well, so at the end of the day, would you believe in he's liable of what appears to be a heinous crime if that's the case? Now, they can't get him criminally, but I mean, what he's being accused of is pretty heinous. Do you think that that should prevent him from running for office ever again or being in the White House?
My personal opinion is it should. Um, but they're obviously going to try to spin that. And what I would say to you and to everybody in the room, let's change the name from Trump to Obama. If this was Obama that was being accused of certain things, what do you think the climate would be? What do you think the
Well,
climate would be
I'm
like?
I'm going to be honest with you from the liberal side of the aisle, particularly being an African American. A lot of us would be saying it racism. We would be saying they trying to take out the first black president, and the white folks don't want it to
What
happen.
what would the other people be saying? What would the
He's
others be
guilty as
saying?
fuck. They would be saying he's guilty as
They
fuck.
would they would they would be looking for rope.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree that if it was Obama, the mindset on both sides would be reversed. I don't disagree with that at all.
Okay. So,
Particularly if the victim was white, it really would be bad.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, it really would be bad. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
it would be bad. It would be some Emmett Till type shit. So I don't
Oh
disagree
my
with that.
goodness.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. Thank God
I do have I
thank
do have
God
a
he stayed
question
with
for you
one
though.
woman his whole damn life.
I do have a question for you though. So
Sure.
did you hear that Biden is passing they're making policy about the airlines? Did you hear about that?
Not yet. Keep me in on it.
Yeah. Okay, so right now, if an airline, right, if they cancel your flight for any reason, you just they just hey, sorry, we canceled the flight, ain't nothing we could do. The most I heard that they would offer somebody is like a $20 meal voucher. But right now, the administration is passing policy that if an airline cancels your flight and it's something that was within their control, they have to accommodate you, your hotel, and any other accommodations you have for that 24-hour period until they get you to your destination. They
Well, the issue, and I can see the lawyers getting to work on this, the issue is going to be, as you say, quote unquote, within their control. So even
correct.
if it's something they screw up on, they're going to always try to come up with a way of making it sound like, well, look, the weather said this, or, we were advised to not fly in this storms. I mean, they're going to come up with ways so it never is in their control.
Well, they're gonna try to weasel out of it, but there are a lot of situations that's within their control. And
That is true.
somebody that has a frequent flyer, I can tell you, You know, these airlines, they are out of control. They are truly out of control, and I applaud the administration for finally doing something about it.
So that's a policy of Biden's that you can say you favor. At the end of the day, a lot of folks would suggest that the economy and things like that were better under Trump. Do you see any of that?
I do not. I do
Hmm.
not. I do not.
What about I had a caller on a couple callers back, an African American, that stated that Trump done more for African Americans than Obama, Biden, or any president in recent history.
Well, and I could understand why some people may say that. The reason being is because Trump did a lot in the criminal arena of things. But the reason he did, I know I'm being serious. The reason that he
Like,
did that,
keep going. Go ahead.
the reason that he did that is because he know he was a criminal himself. So he had a lot of friends that he knew was going to go to jail. He knew himself was potentially might be going to jail. So he did a lot of criminal reform things, basically getting ahead of the curve. But of course, our people, because the majority of us are in jail, they're going to say, "Well, he did that for us." No, he did that for himself and his
Yeah, but what about
organization.
the? But he did more than criminal justice. What about the jobs numbers, the unemployment rate? We benefited from that, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah, the jobs numbers in the African American community were not bad under Trump.
Well, okay. Well, okay. Let's peel the onion on that one. First of all, Trump locked up the entire country. Okay, so everybody went into quarantine. A lot of people started working from home. A lot of people got accustomed to working from home. A lot of people then started their own business ventures. Okay, so let's talk about how the landscape has changed in industries. Okay, you have a
Okay.
lot of YouTubers, you have a lot of people doing work online. So a lot of these jobs that were filled or were no longer filled. So of course, for every action, there's a reaction. So now you have a lot of jobs that need to be filled. Okay, so
All
where
right.
those people that were unemployed before now had opportunities that they didn't have before. That wasn't a brainchild of the Trump administration. That was just a side effect from him locking up
Right.
the entire country.
Okay. So what about the economy and inflation rates? That's what you often hear as well.
I hear it, but I don't know what these folks are talking about. I mean, we're giving Ukraine billions and billions of dollars hand
Yeah.
over fist. So I don't know where this stagnant economy is that people are talking about. If the economy is so stagnant, how are we able to? We just gave Ukraine another 1.5 billion.
Yeah. Well, they talk about stuff like, the cost of goods and services under the Biden administration are significantly higher than they were under Trump.
Oh, was it? Oh, are they higher than when we were under Bush?
Well, now you're going back a couple administrations. I mean, you're going back to what, 2005 or something like that. I'd have to no under the Bush administration, things sucked, which is why Obama gets so much credit for fixing the economy. But
Right.
I mean, the actual numbers, I'd have to really look into that because you're talking almost
Really?
20
Oh,
years
look
ago.
into it because I remember. I remember when the price of gas, when the gallon of gas was almost $7. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember some of that shit too. Thank God Bush
So,
is gone. But
so, so
comparing,
the economy is ebb and flows. Okay, it's like the stock market. The economy is ebb and flows. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, just like the stock market. Okay,
so you
when
think
if
it's just a
people
normal? So
if
it's not
people were
really.
really paying attention, if people were really paying attention, the economy really goes in the shitter when the Republicans are in office, and then the Democrats come in behind it, clean it up, right? Clean it up, but and then the Republicans they talk trash about it, but they was the ones that crushed it to begin with.
But wait, when Biden got in office, did you see what he had to clean up a shitty economy behind Trump?
I'm not going to say he had to clean it up. However, Trump was left in good hands from Obama. So there wasn't
Yeah, but
much.
he gets credit. But Trump got to get credit for keeping it that way, though, right? I mean, Trump could have messed it up. He didn't do that.
Yeah, he locked up the entire country. You can't mess up
Oh
something
yeah, but
when
if he
you're not
didn't,
moving.
but wait a minute, let's be fair. If Trump did not lock up the entire country, us liberals would be all over him. Wasn't Dr. Fauci and us the ones that wanted him to lock it up even sooner?
Hmm.
Right? We're the ones that were in favor of locking down the country. Trump was trying not to do that, which is why Ron DeSantis is such a hero to a lot of folks on the right, is because he didn't do it. Us liberals definitely wanted the country locked up.
I thought Trump was trying to get everybody to gargle Clorox.
I gotta move it on. Appreciate it, Bacardi. Hey, is this our first time talking?
What's that?
This is our first time talking?
No. We've talked before. Remember, we talked about the What was the topic we were talking about? It was a good one too. No, I've been on your show several times.
Okay, fair enough.
What
Fair
was it?
enough.
Yeah,
All
no, it was
right,
a
I gotta
good
move
one
it on,
too.
but come on
All
back
right.
anytime, man.
Anytime, my brother. Anytime.
Good chat. Good chat. Drinking.
I don't think that's conducive to life. Drinking Clorox. Wow. Anyhow, folks, let me read a few more comments. That's because he mishandled the pandemic. Yeah, I'll tell you this, in my humble opinion. One of President Trump's biggest achievements before the pandemic was indeed the economy. As many folks would say when it comes to politics, it's the economy, stupid. So that is the number one issue if you're trying to seek re-election that you need to keep in order is the economy. So once the pandemic hit in late 2019 is when we started having our first cases. Obviously, Trump was already planning on, running for office again. So when he was being advised by the CDC, the FDA, and the World Health Organization to shut the country down, it was no way to deny it was going to destroy the economy. And if you're planning on running how great of an economy you have produced, that's the last thing you want to do. So what Trump was trying to do was maintain the economy and listen to the CDC, the World Health Organization, and the FDA and handle COVID. You can't do them both at the same time. You can't maintain the economy and keep the country shut down. So that's why, even to this day, folks who support Trump have this mixed message about dealing with the pandemic and dealing with COVID. It's because he was releasing a mixed message. We need to shut things down, but we need to work on the economy and things like that. He was releasing a mixed message from day one because he was fighting an internal battle. I want to keep my economy so I can get reelected, but at the same time, I want to kind of see what we can do with the pandemic. So that's clearly a mishandling because there's not a unified message. You're going, telling folks that, you're on TV with Fauci telling folks to, take the vaccine, stay indoors and things like that, wear your mask, because he was on TV with Fauci for about a month. And Fauci's telling people all of this shit with Trump standing right next to him. And then Trump goes on a rally and he's letting everybody yell, "Fire Dr. Fauci." That's a really mixed message. If the guy is that terrible, then why are you on TV with him every damn day? Why not? You can't fire him. He couldn't fire Dr. Fauci, but he could reallocate him. Put him back over the HIV task force or something and get in another virologist or something. So the way Trump handled it was a very mixed message. And that remains among MAGA to this day. It's some folks who are okay with the vaccine, other folks that are staunch opponents of the vaccine because of how he released the message. I've said before what he should have did. Sat down with, got the head of the CDC, head of the FDA. You want to bring somebody in from the World Health Organization, the WHO or whatever, sit down at a round table, figure out what the hell you're going to do, have you all submit your ideas, take their ideas and combine and release one single statement. And when you go on television, you got the leader of the FDA, the WHO, and the CDC all behind you. It looks unified like that. It looks like you guys are releasing a unified statement. As opposed to you say something on TV, then on CNN, one of the CDC people are saying something totally different. Fauci's over here on MSNBC saying something else. It just looks awful. And that's what happened under the Trump administration, is that there was no unified message coming out as of what to do about the pandemic. Even to this day, he finally came around and said, okay, well, you need to get vaccinated. And he said it works. And his message was so unified that when he told his own audience to get vaccinated, they booed him. Well, you've been promoting the opposite for so long. So yeah, his messaging on COVID was certainly mixed at best. It was never unified, and that to this day has plagued MAGA. Looking in the comments, he showed weakness and poor leadership of judgment. I don't know if it was weakness. Like I said, he was trying to battle two goals, which is to keep the economy strong and to shut the country down. And you can't do them both. I don't think that's a sign of weakness. I just think, well, maybe confusion. I don't know what the hell, but it wasn't a good sign no matter what. Do you think reparations hurt the economy? Says H. Ali. Well, a little unknown tidbit that we don't hear a lot because our history is so skewed. A lot of slave owners, once they banned slavery and took away the earnings of slave owners, a lot of them received reparations for having their slaves taken away from them. Did it hurt the economy? I'll let you answer that. But reparations in this country have been given out. They just went to the slave owners as an apology for basically banning their livelihood. You can no longer own people anymore. So they were like, well, I'm poor as fuck now. I don't have all that free labor. You should look out for me. And in many cases, the government did. So reparations have been handed out. So we'll ask you, did it hurt the economy? Biden is the weakest link fact. The weakest link in what type of chain? I'll say this from a liberal aspect. I don't even think most liberals think Biden is doing a great job. But at the end of the day, I think the way folks on the right portray America under Biden is overkill. Like, it makes it sound like we are in a depression. World War III is going to start tomorrow, and the country's just going to fall apart. And it's just not that serious. That's I refer to as Armageddon politics. Looking in the comments, Trump did the best with what he had to deal with. Biden is the worst. He is destroying America. And that is the Armageddon politics I'm talking about. When Obama was elected, he too was destroying America. It's not destroyed. It's taking it in a different direction than you may favor. But America is resilient. We will survive 4 or 8 years of Biden. It's not destroying the country. If Trump, let me make it clear. If Trump were to get elected in 2 years, if Trump got elected in 2024, I would submit to you that within 6 months, he would be talking about how great America is now, which means it wasn't destroyed. It may have been going in the wrong direction. Maybe things were happening she didn't like, but if it's destroyed, it's destroyed. Trump could be put in office, and within 6 months, he would make it sound like we're on top of the world. So no, I don't see all that destruction stuff. Biden might not survive 8 years of Biden. Wow, that could happen. He certainly could pass away while in office. But keep in mind, President Trump is only 4 years younger than Biden. President Trump is not a picture of health. President Trump has a hell of a lot of court cases orbiting around him. And some actually, although I don't believe it'll ever happen, but some actually could include prison time. And last but not least, if President Trump is convicted, incarcerated or not, his legacy is destroyed. Point I'm trying to make is Trump has a hell of a lot of things that could literally raise a man's blood pressure. And with him being unhealthy, you got to assume he's screaming at Twitter or screaming at the Truth Social Network and pissed off at a lot of people. He thinks half the world is rhinos. When you start talking about a commander-in-chief that might not survive his term, Trump qualifies. Trump definitely qualifies. You don't think that guy is having high blood pressure episodes and shit with all of the stuff coming at him? I mean, according to him, every damn thing is a witch hunt and the whole world is trying to get him. You don't think that's keeping him awake at night at all? So understand that Trump, too, may not survive his term. It's not like he's a spring chicken. Biden will be, 86 or some shit if he finishes his second term. Trump is only 4 years younger than Biden. He's not young by any stretch of the imagination. No, I don't think so. He is with a lack of consciousness. I don't believe that. I'm still curious if Melania Trump is not going to ultimately leave him. She's already rich. She's got children by him, so she'd be guaranteed a hefty amount of child support. If they broke up, she could easily present a legitimate case for why they have irreconcilable differences. I mean, the guy slept with a bunch of women. So I'm surprised she stays with him because at the end of the day, when you look at all the money he's paying for legal fees and things like that, you would have to assume his empire is he's losing money. That's the point I'm trying to make. I mean, he said he's worth $10 billion. I don't know what he's worth, but since running for president, he has lost money. There's no denying. Literally hiring top-notch lawyers 24 hours a damn day is not helping him out. Melania Trump could cut her ties and say, listen, let me get out and get my piece before you lose all of this shit. Could happen. Could happen. Looking in the comments. She'd lose her citizenship. No, she wouldn't. No, she wouldn't. If Melania Trump went to the Biden administration, they're going to make sure she get whatever the hell she wants. She knows where some bodies are buried. All she got to do is promise to sing like a bird, and she'll get her citizenship is not going anywhere. I don't think her citizenship's in danger anyway, but if she is willing to speak out on Trump, her citizenship is assured. I can tell you that. I don't care if she was fucking Russian, Syrian, and Yemenis all combined. They would make sure she had citizenship. I pay more now in taxes under Biden. Rick 41, a lot of Americans do. If she left his ass now, she'd get more. And that's the point I'm trying to make, Lewis, is that she could cut her losses and leave him now as opposed to having to ride out this shit with him. You see his daughter has separated from his legal team and gotten her own. So are they seeing something that doesn't look like it's in his favor or whatever? But yeah, she can leave and literally go her own way and be Melania Trump set for life. I mean, any book that Melania Trump is one, if she offers to write a book, that's 7 figures right there. That's 7 figures right there if she offers to, tell where all the bodies are buried. She knows enough that she can get a Netflix miniseries. All right, going back to the box. Jeff Fana. Evening Jeff. What do you think? Trump totally innocent, or you think he's guilty of this stuff?
No, he's guilty.
You do think he's guilty?
Absolutely.
Do you think it should prevent him from running for president?
I'd like to think so. Yeah. I mean, again, just from a moral standpoint, is that the person we want running the country? I mean, let's look at George Santos, right? Like, here's a guy that lied to get into office, lied with his campaign funds and all this stuff, and he's still there. And they're playing.
Santos ain't gonna make it. Santos ain't gonna make it. They said he got an indictment or charge today. I don't think Santos is going to make it. I really don't think he's going to finish his term.
Well, right, but as well as I do, if you were hired to do a job today and your company found out you lied, you'd be fired. They wouldn't wait.
Yeah.
And we're talking about our government.
You make a good point. When you look at some of the things that Trump is, and I don't want to just attack Republicans, but I will say when you look at what has happened with Trump, Santos, and now Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, I could see the need to pass some rules because these people are pushing the envelope. We've had a lot done on the honor system. When I say Trump, I'm talking about stuff like asking can he pardon himself. You shouldn't be able to even ask no shit like that. And then when you see what Clarence Thomas is doing, taking these huge gifts for years and years and stating that I didn't even know I had to report it on my taxes. And then obviously George Santos is just incredibly bad. So it's looking like they need to pass some laws to get off the honor system because there's a lot of folks operating with no honor.
Yeah, well, and again, here's the thing. Like, Donald Trump was one of those people. So the presidency generally, when you look at it, there are rules, right? But he was willing to break those rules or push those rules, right? You look at you had mentioned something about during the presidency Donald Trump lost money. I'll disagree. Now it is a subjective conversation because again, we don't know how his businesses were doing while his family was running it instead of him. But again, every president is supposed to absolve themselves of their businesses and put them in blind trusts. Right. Instead, he loaded it up to his kids, right? So
Big Bird,
there's
well, let me interrupt to say. And by the way, Big Bird, I do appreciate those hats. Thank you very much. The reason I suggest that Trump lost money while he was president is because
half the country don't like him, and a hell of a lot of world leaders do not either. So, like his hotels and things like that, there's a whole like the rappers and shit like that. They were all fawning over President Trump. He's lost a huge audience. Lots of folks will not play on his golf courses and things like that. I really believe he's lost money while in office.
Right. So I get that. Now, like I said, that's why this is subjective. But what I will say is, here's an example of pushing the envelope and breaking the rules, right? So the emoluments clause, which is in our Constitution, Donald Trump enriched himself while he was the president by bringing himself and his and friends and having meetings and having parties at his resorts. So
Yeah,
there are numbers anywhere from 140 million to 300 million that our government, our tax dollars paid his resorts for him to play golf and have his all his extracurricular activities. The emoluments clause, I don't even know what you call him. The emoluments clause guy, the guy that oversees that stuff, was an Obama leftover. He resigned after 6 months, saying that it was the craziest thing ever, that everything he mentioned was wrong and shouldn't have been done was being done, and they were ignoring him. So he just resigned. And then of course they just put in a Trump apologist or a Trump favorite, and then nothing gets paid attention to. Nobody cares anymore, right? So
yeah.
so that's part of the problem too. Like we ignore those things.
Yeah, there's just so many. It kind of reminds me of the Eddie Murphy movie, Distinguished Gentleman, where he talks about there's just so much money to be made in politics, where there's so many schemes and scams, and it's all considered legal. So, I mean, because I don't doubt that Biden and liberals, the Obamas, are rich from being president. They're all making a fortune off of it. But the difference with Trump is he already was super duper wealthy. I believe that if President Trump had not ran for president, he would have lived on to be a wealthier guy than he is having been president. I just believe it hurt his numbers.
Fair point.
Yeah. And that's the point I'm making. Is I mean, he made some money while president, but I think had he not gotten involved in elections and just simply continue being Donald Trump and with all of the, I mean, he was on par to build the largest skyscraper in Russia before he became president. That didn't happen now.
Wait a
I
minute.
mean,
Wait a minute.
yeah, so
Wait
I
a
think
minute.
he would have been far more wealthier. And then think about all of the shit he's being charged with. If he hadn't run for president, like this case that he lost today, that would have never happened. I mean, so I think a lot of these cases that are orbiting around him, he would have got away with all of that stuff if he didn't
But he,
become a
yeah, but he
controversial president.
right, but he created all of it too. So it's not
Yeah,
like it just appeared out of thin air. He
true.
created a lot of the
Yeah,
stuff he's faced
yeah,
with.
yeah.
But so I wanted to make mention. You were talking to the previous gentleman about the economy and Trump and his 4 years. Why are we ignoring the fact that you are responsible for a full 4 years, not just three before COVID hit? So Obama had a couple different pandemics, or I shouldn't say pandemics, but potential pandemics that hit him, and because he had a pandemic plan and he put it into full force and he sent the CDC over to Africa for Ebola and he sent the CDC to H1N1 and he managed these things so we didn't have huge pandemics. We didn't have issues. And
Well,
let's go
I
ahead.
don't. I think it's because when you look at E. coli, and Ebola, and some of these other bird flu and stuff like that, I don't think they rank on the same level because even other countries around the world did not have the death toll like they did with COVID. I think COVID was worse than all of those other pandemics combined. Even if Trump had handled it perfectly, I still think it was a far worse pandemic than any of that other stuff.
So I will agree with you 100%. However, it doesn't mean we know that from the beginning with everything, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he
again,
bungled it. Yeah, he totally
like
bungled it. Like I said, he was focused on trying to keep the economy going and also somewhat work with the CDC. And he was being resistant to the medical professionals from day one. So, yeah, he released a hellified mixed message. So, yeah, he definitely bungled it.
yeah, he sat with him in a meeting with Bob Woodward, an interview, and it was taped, and he actually admitted that he wanted to play down the pandemic, right? And so, like, my thinking is this: when anybody wants to say, "Oh, but he had to deal with the pandemic," well, so does every president potentially, right? And they
Right.
have a plan. They don't just throw caution to the wind, worrying about being reelected and who cares about the people. Let's downplay it 1 minute, let's upplay it the next minute. Let's tell you it's going to go away with the heat, right? Like, and here's the other thing that we ignore, like our oil prices, our inflation is from the pandemic, right? And
Yeah.
again, depending on how you handled it. So I'm going to give you a little story on Trump with oil, right? So in 2018, Don went to Saudi Arabia and asked them to pump more oil. They initially refused, and he threatened them with our security, because we basically give them their security with our military. And then he also threatened them with the Khashoggi unaliving, and how he could make that come back up again and become an issue, because a lot of countries wanted to sanction Saudi Arabia for that.
Right.
So, and by all means, we should have been the forefront of that, right? Like, so the fact that
Yeah,
he
but that
was,
would have made. I mean, because I know you're talking about Khashoggi, the guy they chopped into a bunch of pieces. But if we had
correct.
went after the Saudis for what they did, fuel prices would have shot up, and
Well,
that's why he turned a blind eye to it.
well, and again, yeah, well, but remember, an American citizen, right? Like, so,
I get it. But you know, this country being a capitalist country, we focus more on money than any damn thing else. And if it comes to avenging the death of one dude, one reporter, as opposed to making everybody's gas prices go up, they're gonna let that one reporter go.
right, right. So now
Yeah.
let's fast forward to the pandemic. At that point, because Donald Trump had gotten Saudi Arabia to pump more oil in 2018, we now had a surplus. Our small American oil companies were going out of business because the
Right.
price was so low we couldn't afford to sell, right? Like, or we were giving it away basically. We were just unloading on the surplus that was sitting around because people weren't driving. And this was really hurting our industry. So what did Donald Trump do? He went to OPEC and OPEC Plus, or Russia and Saudi Arabia and Mexico, and asked them to stop pumping. They refused initially and then said we would, but we would only do it for a 2-year deal. So Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico actually hurt Biden coming into office, because for what was it? 2022 was the deal. The deal was over. So April of 2022, the deal ended. So up to April 2022, Biden could not ask Saudi Arabia or Russia or
Mm. Yeah.
Mexico to pump more oil, right, to help the prices. So again, we were hamstrung until our American companies could get themselves back up and running from COVID. We were
So
stopped. There was nothing we could
I
do.
get your point. So at the end of the day, do you favor? Because even among liberals, there's not a lot of love for Biden. What about yourself? Do you think Biden is worthy of a second term? Take Trump
Uh,
out of the picture. I mean,
you
because
know,
obviously
I,
Biden's going to get a hell of a lot of anti-Trump votes. But do you think Biden on his own is worthy of a second term?
I do. I do. Now, age is one thing. So, of course, I would love to see a younger man so we don't have to worry about any of that. But again, it's not like the president doesn't have all the people around him to help him, right?
Yeah.
Like, to deal with things. So it's not like the president's the only person that does anything. I know we like to blame every president for everything, but that's just not a reality if you understand politics and you
Right.
understand the positions.
You don't
But
do you buy into what Nikki do you buy into what Nikki Haley suggested in indicating he may not even live to the end of his term?
well, I mean, that's a reality for anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that could be you or me if
Especially
we.
when you're that old.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, anything can happen. There's no doubt. But again, what does that mean? That means the vice president takes over. Do we trust Kamala Harris, right? Do we trust whoever if she doesn't run with him again or whatever? Like, of course I would trust whoever he asked to be his running mate, to run the country. It's not like they're not qualified as well.
So, do you
So,
feel as though Mike Pence was qualified to run the country?
oh, I think he was a better option than Trump.
Wow.
Not not that
Okay.
I like Mike Pence, but I thought he was a better option than Trump. Is an evil man. I mean, it's sad. Like he's a con man. He's just evil. He was all about himself. He could care less about this country technically. So, he did everything he could in some ways to enrich himself and hurt others at all times. It was crazy.
Damn, evil. Wow, that's strong language. All right, Jeff. I got to move it on. You know how we do.
Yep. Yes,
Appreciate you
sir.
coming here.
It was great
Good talk.
talk to you.
You too, man. You too. A pleasure. All right, look.
It's Nikki should worry about her false face. What the? Are you talking about Nikki Haley? Is that what you're talking about? Black. Appreciate the crown. Thank you very much. Where was Biden when Ohio had that chemical spill? Well, the Biden administration certainly was slow to act on that. Nevertheless, there is more to be said about that, such as the cutbacks, I believe happened under the Trump administration, so that they didn't even have enough personnel on the damn train to properly run it. Back when we were kids, what you had a engineer and you had somebody in a caboose or something like that. They got these long ass trains barely running with more than one person on there. They've cut back that much. What was that? Norfolk Southern, I think it was. So there were some cuts made during the Trump administration that allowed them to run with these skeleton crews. So that ain't, I mean, we can blame Biden for not showing up there sooner, but fact is that may have been a preventable mess. That just want to say that. Trump was out of office for 2 years. Biden is in charge, man. I'm not saying that Biden's not in charge, but fact is, Trump's policies still live on. I mean, even when you're talking about the border, for instance, one of his policies is just expiring. The COVID policy in regards to folks coming in the country that expires on Thursday. So it's not like all of his policies have been eradicated. What about Elizabeth Warren, says Juke? What about Elizabeth Warren? She's not running for office. What do you state your question? Team Cawthorn, I do appreciate that ticket. And Miss Lady, shout out to you. Thank you for those roses. Appreciate the support. You guys have been very kind. Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 70,000 likes if that is possible. What about true voting in 2024, says CMB Boss, a friend of the program. I don't know if the voting in 2020 was not true. I do believe that Trump made a big stink over the voting in 2020 to a point where it wasn't accurate. I've watched 2000 Mules. I think, about 4 shows on it. Watched that documentary 6 times. I think that if you go looking for something and you really want to find it, you will find it. And in my humble opinion, when Trump stated that the election was held improperly, it was essentially a solution looking for a problem. The election was held improperly, so all of a sudden all of his supporters started going out trying to find what they could. Some folks said Dominion voting machines was doing it. Other folks said dead people were doing it. Some folks said immigrants was doing it. Late mail-in. I mean, they were coming up with everything they could. And some folks even talked about the changes to the election, that were blamed on the pandemic, like in Pennsylvania was doing it. Literally threw everything against the wall and hoped to see what would stick. But when you talk about true voting, I don't think you could ever question an election when you're only looking for fraud in specific areas. Perfect example would be 2000 Mules. They go to Georgia, they're looking around Atlanta talking about fraud. They go to Arizona, they're looking around Phoenix talking about fraud. They go to Wisconsin, they're looking around Milwaukee. They go to Pennsylvania, they're looking around Philadelphia. They're literally specifically targeting Democratic areas to find fraud. What about Western Pennsylvania, Northern Wisconsin, areas away from Phoenix? Did you even check those areas? Because at the end of the day, we're looking at an election where almost 200 million people voted, and we're supposed to believe that 100% of the fraud and cheating came from Democrats. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. A state like Wisconsin cheated But a big ass state like Texas was 100% honest. I'm not going to buy that. I mean, I'm not going to say Republicans stole the election or anything crazy like that, but the idea that 80 million or whatever voted for Trump and 100% of that was honest, no, you just didn't look for it. You're only if your only focus is on one side, then that's where all the fraud is going to go. If the police in your town only police and patrol your neighborhood, that's where all your town's criminals are going to come from. All of the guys in jail are going to be from your neighborhood. It's not that there are not crimes being committed elsewhere. They're just not going to those areas. They're only focusing on your neighborhood. So everybody in jail is coming from your area. That's not true policing. And what they did in regards to the election was not true searches for integrity. Up to and including President Trump stating to the governor of Georgia, just find me 11,000 votes. That's not what you should have said on the phone. You should say, fix your damn election. When you say, find me 11,000 votes, you're indicating, I don't really give a shit what y'all doing there. As long as I win, I'm cool. You find me the votes I need to win that state, and I'm good with that. I don't really care what you're doing there. Just find me 11,000 votes, and I'm cool. That's not securing the integrity of the election. That's just trying to win. North Carolina, another state that went for Trump, barely. When North Carolina was up for grabs, Trump was claiming fraud. At the end of the day, Trump won the state of North Carolina by like a few thousand votes. All of a sudden, his entire claim of fraud went away. Are you for integrity of the election or are you for winning? If you believe there was fraud in the state of North Carolina and you want fair elections, you should continue pursuing that, even if you win. But if you're going to stop pursuing fraud the moment you win, then you're not concerned with the fraud. You just want to win. And I think that that's what caused a lot of these courts to not even hear Trump's claims, is because it became pretty clear you're not trying to secure the integrity of the election. You just want to do whatever you want to do to win. Good example, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania got sued by the state of Texas. Pennsylvania made changes to the election process and they blamed it on COVID. They blamed it on the pandemic. Made it easier to vote, made it easier to mail in votes. The state of Texas suggested that the changes in Pennsylvania were unconstitutional and they sued the state of Pennsylvania. The governor of Montana was on This Week with George Stephanopoulos and stated, we made the exact same changes to our voting as Pennsylvania did. And Texas is not suing us because Trump used our changes and won this state. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, when presented with that, they didn't have an answer for why aren't you suing Montana? If you truly believe what they're doing in Pennsylvania is unconstitutional, it should also be, that lawsuit should also include Montana. Now, understand if you sue Montana, you may cost Trump some electoral college votes temporarily. But if you're going to be fair, you should sue all of the states that's doing it. Texas didn't have an answer for that. And at the end of the day, that lawsuit went nowhere. But just understand it's a difference between trying to secure the integrity of an election and just simply being focused on winning. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate you being tuned into the program this special evening live. I don't normally do the evening lives, but I do appreciate some of you folks rolling with me. During the day lives, I'm on 11:30 Central AM. It's about almost 10 times as many people in there. We usually have well over 1,000 people oftentimes. So feel free if you're around 11:30 a.m. Central Time. Tune in. We're on for a couple hours. As always, I don't ban, block, or censor anyone for their commentary. The program is, as I always say, it is, and it shall forever remain MAGA friendly. MAGA will always be my preferred guest, but liberals are welcome as well. You guys can be anywhere you want to be on social media, so I'm always happy to have you here for a little bit. Nevertheless, until next time, I'll catch you guys later. You guys have a good night. If I can actually end the damn thing.